is also having a WhatsApp group. So what I can do is that I can WhatsApp you the link of USP. Majority of
Okay.
those members are based in Mumbai. So
Okay.
our aim, there are a lot of such single parent groups like the one which Hemant answered, and we are trying to see if we can create some group in Hyderabad and Bangalore also because there are people who are single parents who are from university.
Okay.
So
Okay.
our aim is to create a city-specific group in Hyderabad, in Bangalore, so that we can meet single parents in your city. And virtually,
Yeah.
definitely, like we are expecting more than 20 cities to come and join.
Yeah. That actually for long time I was thinking about meeting some people similar like me, but it was very hard actually.
I will try. Our aim is to ensure that you guys in the same city should be able to meet. And there are five of them. I don't know whether you know or not. Diksha Vatwani is from Hyderabad. He is also a widower. Lalita is from Hyderabad. She is a divorcee. And Meghna Gawani and Sai Kurlapati, they are from Hyderabad. They both are separated. So along with you, there are four more from Hyderabad who registered for this event. So slowly we
Okay.
try to see if they agree and if they're comfortable, you guys can actually have a city meetup, which will be more offline. And at least it will
Yeah.
be a platform in which we meet at least like-minded people from single parenting. So slowly we'll be doing chapter-wise platforms in which you guys can catch up and meet each other.
Hey Vikram, hey guys. Vikram, I can barely hear you by the way. I know the panel hasn't joined and we're still getting started, but I can
Thanks
barely
a
hear you.
lot. Thanks a
Oh,
lot for
much
the
better.
feedback.
Oh, gosh,
How
yes.
is it now? I've just tried
Oh,
to,
much better. Do
yeah,
whatever you're doing just now.
I just
Yes.
removed the wire and put it back to the audio jack
Ah,
just to check whether some
much better.
loose
See, that's
connection.
why you need friends by your side to tell you that you're not audible.
Completely agree. Completely agree, Mira. Thanks a lot for joining in the right time before the event started.
I am happy to help.
Actually, I was thinking maybe it's my mobile data issue.
No, no, Anand, thanks to Mira
Good to
that
know that.
she was
Yeah.
able to catch the audio issue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let
All
me
right,
just
good luck with the forum. I'm going to be hearing in. Um, oh,
sure, Mira, and be participative. Hi, Satish ji. Satish ji, you are not audible. Just see if your mic is on. Hi, Devanshi.
Hi, I just joined. Sorry, I thought it was at 7. I completely forgot.
Hey, good that you have joined because people
Yeah.
have joined now. Devanshi, you are
Okay.
from Bangalore.
Yes.
Bangalore, we also have Mr. Srivats, who has also joined from Bangalore. Srivats?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
Srivats, we have one
Hi,
more
hi.
participant from your own city of Bangalore, Devanshi Mehta.
Oh, okay. Hi,
Yeah.
hi.
Hi. Hi.
And Devanshi Srivats is also from Bangalore.
Okay.
And we have Anand Kishore from Hyderabad. We have Meera Rahul from USA and Satish ji is from Thane, Mumbai. Satish
Yes,
ji, hope we are audible to you. आप सुन पा रहे हैं हमको?
yes, Bilkul. Can you hear me?
Yes, अब आपकी आवाज क्लियर आ रही है सर.
Yeah. Actually,
कैसे हैं
it was
सर आप?
muted
आप
here.
आप आप कैसे हैं सर?
Oh, I'm good. See, I'm a lawyer basically,
Okay.
and I know a few people.
Okay.
The message was sent to me by Debasree.
Ah, Debasree. Yes.
Yeah.
She's also one of our speaker
She is
today.
one of the speakers,
Yes.
and she has introduced me to Hemant.
He.
Hemant, na? What is his name?
Hemant Amrute.
Yes, Hemant Amrute.
Correct.
And I know that he got married to
Parini.
Parini. I know
Yes.
that much.
Wow. Thank you,
I
sir.
have
Thank
met
you for.
Hemant also, and I like the concept of USP.
Correct.
Although I'm not single, I'm married.
Yes, I know.
As a lawyer,
Yes.
I had this.
Community. Single parent
Yes,
community.
I have been helping people, and I have
Yes,
lots of
yes.
clients. So I have
They-
recommended lots of single parents to join on this.
Thank you, Satish ji. Thank you so very
Yes.
much. Thank you so very much for your support as a lawyer to entire single parent community. And we need lawyer support during separation, during divorce, after divorce,
know
and
that.
also your support is always meaningful.
Yes.
We have one of the speaker who has joined. Hi, Snehil.
Hi Vikram,
How are you?
I am good. Good evening, everyone.
Dr. Snehil.
Yes,
Good
she is
evening.
an
Yes, sir.
academic
evening.
doctor, Satishji.
Mhm.
She is a professor in Management Technology College.
Wow. Great.
So Satishji Snail is also a lawyer and he
Oh, great.
supports our single parent community in a big way
Wow.
because of his expertise in legal. And one of the panelists, Debasree, also requested him to join.
Okay, that's great. Because there are a lot of things which is required in the guidance of in terms of legal when there is a separation or something is happened to a couple.
Absolutely,
The
absolutely.
aftermath of separation is really very big, especially when kids are there.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Very
really.
true, sir.
That is one part. And second part is having a single child. See,
That is
as
more
it is,
good.
I tell you,
Yeah,
handling a single child by two persons is also difficult.
very true.
Single parent, managing a child, and if you have a single child, it's very, very difficult.
Okay, okay.
Especially if you don't have parental support to take care.
In
If you
fact,
are staying alone and all, it's hell. I'll tell you, it's
yes,
hell.
yes, Satishji. I was talking to Snehil, who is our panelist for this particular point, and she mentioned that the biggest support was her mother because she also had one child to take care of after she lost her husband. So what you're saying is right. Having a support
Perfect.
does make a big difference.
So we try to fulfill that gap, kind of
Actually, sir.
parental support to the single mothers.
That's
Right, sir. It is very much required in lot of different way because there is a very big fight in life in all aspect. Every kind of aspect, even though it is emotionally, financially, legal fight, with a fight with the people around her. So lot of support, strength, strongness is required to her. So if the people like us who help them, so that is something really. I feel like after this particular incident, I've got lot of strength. I am a very different now. Earlier, I was there.
That's
So
good.
that is a very that fight makes me a very different person, and a lot of things which has come out from me which I don't know that I'm having that emotional strongness to handle big kind of thing. I have courage to move alone. I am courage to travel alone. I am courage to handling the big decisions like buying a property, buying a car. All these small these things are required a very big to courage to handle such kind of thing. Taking a decision about the kids are also important, so that courage is required to take decision because you feel alone, no one is there to discuss even something about how we have to go ahead and all. So it is
completely
important.
completely agree, Snehil. We have one of the participant, my batchmate, Meera Rahul, joined from USA. She's also raising the
Oh,
hand before we start the
yeah.
conversation. Yes, Meera.
Hey guys, good morning, good evening to you all. I just joined to support Vikram. He and I have been friends over 25 years now. I have a question to Dr. Snehil. While you were processing all this, did you, go through therapy? Did you guys, did someone help you process all this? I can only imagine it's hard. I have two kids. I'm happily married the last 20 years, but I'm just joining the forum just to hear him. But
Okay.
therapy would have been a good, solution to process your thoughts. Can you speak to
Yeah.
that?
Meera, my experience was like when I lost my husband, it really very traumatic, very tough for me. And my son was 3.5 years at that time. So there is only one thing in my mind that particular point of time, that I need to be strong in front of him only. So I only that particular strength with me, that my son. I have to be a person in his life, that she is the lady in my life. That she's the person, because she's the person who handled everything. Because I'm the world to him at that time. So I need to prove him I am actually world. When he say a single word, uh, I just do anything for him. So that thing give me the strength for everything, Meera. Lot of strength provide this particular thought, and day by day I'm changed. The lot of things comes to me, change me. So that जैसे जैसे आता गया, I just move on and now become like that.
But yes, just to add,
What about the marriage? The thought of marriage never occurred to you?
sir, she's
Um,
also a happily second marriage. So she will be sharing the thoughts on life after second marriage.
Wow.
She also got
Yes.
married now,
yeah.
happily. So Meera, you were saying something, but you were on mute.
Oh yeah, no, I was acknowledging. No, thank you for your response. It makes total sense.
And just
Good
to
stuff.
add, Meera, in my case, when I got divorced, unlike in Snehil's case of widow, and also we have one of the participant who spoke about the widow Anand. So I did went into taking advice from a psychologist who is a very well-known psychologist in Mumbai, named Mumbai, and at least for 3 months, a small medication was given to me to ensure that at least my sleep is taken care of. So as Snehil rightly told, the strength was there, but I was very clear that I will approach and see if there is some kind of help which I need. And after they conduct all the tests, they make you answer some 200 questions. They have their own therapy style. She only recommended that you are mentally, emotionally very strong, but if sleep is something which disturbs, so she used to give a very small dose of sleeping tablets so that my sleep is taken care of. And then, as Snehil told, we know we have to do it, so we have to do it.
And Meera, one more thing I just add over here, that you asked about the therapy basically. So I didn't require any kind of therapy because my parents, especially my mother, is a doctor. My father is also a doctor, brother is also, but my mother played a very important role in my life. I think that is a important thing which has happened to me. So I didn't required any kind of therapy
But
because
not
she,
everybody is as lucky as you to
yeah,
have that
yeah, yeah.
support.
So
That's not.
she know how to handle me, my emotions or my things medically also, my requirement also, emotional requirement, physical requirement, as well as the other aspects. So my mother plays that role. So I don't need that kind of, like as Vikram says that he need it, and that, so that is I don't need. I'm handling the things in that way.
Thank you for
Great.
sharing your thoughts.
We have one more speaker who has joined. Hi, Debasree.
She's muted.
Hi, Debasree. You have to unmute yourself.
Hi, Vikram.
How are
Sorry, I'm
you?
just unmuting and yeah. Hi,
There I
hi
can see
all.
you.
Initially, we saw a dinosaur in your DP.
My son, he has made this.
Your son's favorite
Yes,
animal,
yes, yes.
dinosaur. क्या बात है? So Jurassic Park you would have seen by now, the new version.
Yeah.
So
Where
Debasree,
is he?
Yes.
Where
Satish
is
sir has
Rebo?
joined.
Hi,
Debasree.
sir. How are you?
Fine, fine. Where is Rebo?
Rebo is in another
In
room.
another room.
He has come back today from his hostel. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi,
Rebo,
Debasree. This is Snehil.
Hi,
Nice
Snehil.
to have you.
Nice to have you too.
we have two people who have joined from Hyderabad and also one from Bangalore. Others are probably will be joining shortly. Devanshi, hope we are audible to you.
Yes, yes, Vikram.
Very shortly, Devanshi, can you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I got divorced 3 years ago, and
Okay.
before that, 2 years we were separated. I work as a clinical SaaS programmer with LabCorp in Bangalore. Currently working from home. I have a 12-year-old son, and that's, yeah. Initial years are difficult, as you all were discussing. I also needed therapy for a few months. After that, I got hold of myself, and at times it feels very challenging. Single parenting. I mean, you feel like you're not doing enough. You just want to, go away somewhere, or maybe you feel better if I had some help. because house help and all that help is not the kind of help we are looking for. So, and my father comes once in a year for a few months from Ahmedabad. But still, the aging parents also, like, we cannot expect too much because of their own health issues also. So
Very true.
yeah, it's going on. Yeah.
Wish you more strength. And at the time when you were speaking about challenges, we had the best speaker to support us, which is Niyatii. Niyatii has joined. I am sure, Niyatii, you would have heard. We are just requesting the registered delegates to speak and share something about themselves. So I'm sure when I was also talking to you, this is the exact thing which we were also discussing about the initial stages of single parenting and the challenges which it poses.
Absolutely.
So great. I think 3 of you have joined, and Hemant and Parini will be joining shortly. Hemant, as I mentioned to all the delegates also in our creative and details, he's also a cancer warrior. He had his chemotherapy today. He's returned from the hospital, and he will be attending the meet shortly along with his wife, Parini. And Debasree knows Hemant and Parini. Through Debasree only I met Hemant and Parini. And both of them are truly an inspiration for many of us who are single parent. So they will also be joining. They were here, but I think somehow the phone got disconnected, and he'll be joining back. And also Tanmay will also be joining shortly. So what we'll do is that without wasting the time, we are at 7 p.m. and we have people who have joined. We'll start the discussion.
Sure.
With your
You are
permission.
supposed to start the discussion at 7:15 as per your email.
Yes, sir. So we'll wait for 8 more minutes. And thank you so much, Satish ji,
I would request that.
for playing the role of lawyer, because lawyers are always very particular about each and every section and act. And please accept my thank you to you. We have few more people who have joined. So since we have 8 minutes, let's invite them. Hi, Gauri. Gauri, can you hear us?
Yes, yes. Hi, Vikram.
Yeah, Gauri. Can you little bit speak about you?
I'm Gauri, staying in Mumbai.
Your voice is not very clear, Gauri.
I'm out, Vikram, actually.
Achha, you are out. Okay. You will be reaching your home shortly?
It will take half an hour.
Okay, but you are able to hear us, no?
Yes, yes.
Great.
Okay.
Anand? Hi, Anand.
Yeah, Vikram.
Yeah, Anand, for the sake of the people who have joined right now, again, if you can just repeat the small introduction, because that time it was only you and me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I'm a widower from Hyderabad. So I'm a software engineer. So with 2 kids. Elder daughter is 12 years old, and a son who is 8 years old. So my wife died exactly 3 years ago, so before to COVID actually. She died. So 3 years I've been in this position, and to support me, I have my elder parents. Sorry, my parents who are very old. So we say like my father is 78 and my mother is 72. But they are here to support, especially kids, and yeah. So yeah, 3 years it's been. I don't know, but as I said to Vikram, like COVID, I know it's been very bad for a lot of people, but I feel like it was in a way it was helping me because I was at home completely, and kids were also at home after what happened, and we had a good bonding between us for the last 2.5 years because of that work from home and this scenario. And because of that situation, even I took a decision of not continuing in my previous office where they wanted to come to office and work as well. So I started doing a freelancing stuff so that I can work directly from home only. Yeah, so this is about me. So as such,
Great, Kishore. And also, when we were discussing, you did mention that you are very comfortable with the son because he speaks out everything and you are comfortable. But with your daughter, you told me that you are not able to figure it out. She's also a teenager, and sometimes you
yeah,
feel as
she's
a
12
father.
and
There is a
And,
gap of communication. So I was sharing Niyatii with Niyatii. I was telling Anand that we do have an expert who does deal with different age group, and she understands the entire, what do you say, the changes which happens with the child. And if you remember, we were discussing about father and daughter communication and
Yeah.
mother and son
Yes.
communication. So we have a very
Yes.
classic case of Anand, and he's very comfortable with his younger son. But the
Right.
elder daughter, he still feels that there is not much of communication as much as the son.
Right.
she's not expressive as such,
And she's not very expressive to him. So he feels
Yeah.
probably he doesn't know
Yeah.
what
And
is,
even
and he
for
also he's a
Married,
teenager. So
yeah, especially she's like now 12 and she's getting into the teenage. So I don't know, girls' problems and women's problems. So I don't know how to face them, and I'm just worried about those aspects, especially.
Sure. I think we will be covering all these.
we will address this concept, Anandji. It's there in our part of.
Stay tuned.
Sure, thank you.
So we have Rubal also who has joined. Hi, Rubal. Rubal has joined from Chandigarh. Zirakpur. Hi, Rubal. Are we audible to you? Rubal? You have to unmute yourself. Shailesh, have you joined? Hello, Shailesh. Am I audible? Otherwise, Snehil, आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
Yes, you are audible.
I'm audible, no?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
couple of them are messaging in WhatsApp that they are not been able to hear. So probably they might have a slow internet at their end, probably.
Okay.
So Satish ji, 3 more minutes to go. Any advice from you before we start the panel discussion?
Yeah, first and foremost, I would say whoever is single must try and find somebody to support.
So we have.
Will get married.
Yes, sir. So we do have three of the.
Always advise to every single parent that get married. It brings stability in life.
Absolutely right, sir. And we have 3 panelists who are actually in that second marriage situation. So they'll be able to share about life after second marriage also. And you never know, all the single parents might be in a serious relationship. I'm into one serious relationship, so might be Debasree. So we will ensure that we'll ensure that what you are praying and what do you wish for all the single parents will happen. But even if some single parents are fine with being single, I think the choice is with them and they might still be feeling completed.
See, I'll tell you, even if both are there, still it is difficult to even manage a single child by both mother and father.
Okay.
If you have 2 kids, they become more manageable.
Oh.
Yeah.
Great. You are right. In
Another
terms
thing that we must go for.
Great, Satish ji. We'll take your advice. I think Hemant has joined from his son's PC. Hi, Hemant.
Hi, this is Parini.
Hi, Parini. How are you?
Hi, Debbie. Hi, Vikram. Hello, Satish ji. Doctor.
Hi, Parini.
Hi.
Wow, Hemant has also joined. Hi, Hemant.
Wow.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible. Yes, Hemant, you are audible.
All right.
So Satish ji, all the panelists has come except Tanmay.
Yes.
I will just send a small reminder to him.
It's still a minute to go.
Yes.
Hi, Hemant.
Just a question, Vikram. Are we all going to talk together or it will be like one at a time?
Speech.
One at a time, and when the
Your topic and talk.
Yeah.
No, because then me and Hemant are sitting in the same room. I'll have to go to another room then. I better do that.
Beta, you do that, Pari.
Yeah, otherwise it will echo. And also, when you are in separate room, we can ask you to share some secrets also.
That makes better sense.
Secret of second marriage, Hemant. You are on mute, Hemant. Just unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Vikram, can you hear me now?
हाँ रूबल कहाँ हो? चंडीगढ़.
Yeah, Jirakpur at my home.
Zirakpur in Chandigarh, no?
Yeah, it's near Chandigarh.
Near Chandigarh. Great. How are you
Very
doing?
near.
How are you doing,
Yeah.
Rubal?
I'm doing well otherwise.
Very short introduction if you can give before we start. 1 minute to go.
Yeah, definitely I will give, no problem. I'm single mom of a young beautiful girl, 24 years. And I'm single for last 12 to 15 years. Not in any kind of relationship till now yet. Totally single and managing my home and household, everything. And obviously my daughter also. So this is all about me. I'm working also little bit now, just because not something regularly, but online. So
Great, Rubal. Thanks for joining all the way from Chandigarh. Means a lot.
Vikram, it is all because of you. I liked your previous that thing very much, and being single since long time, मैं मानती हूँ कि we too have many things which we can share with others people. And right
Absolutely.
now, even I also think कि I should try to move more further in my life, but it's very difficult at this point of time, especially when I've already crossed 50.
So probably after today's panel discussion, you might be able to think that way, because we do have people who have thought about this and did this after a particular age. So definitely, Rubal, what you're saying is right, that after a particular age,
I have already tried, but my luck is not favoring me
it
at
will
all.
favor. After today's, what we say, discussion will bless you with lot of luck. So with this,
one can't put myself. I can't put myself in trouble again and again. Na?
absolutely right, absolutely right. So
Especially
single
I
is
can't
also.
hurt myself again and again without any diversion.
सतीश जी कुछ बोल रहे हैं. सतीश जी,
हाँ जी बोलिए.
हर बार ट्रबल हो ऐसा जरूरी नहीं.
जरूरी नहीं है. सही बात है. और आज
यही सोच के आदमी कोशिश करता है, लेकिन कुछ ना कुछ फिर अगर एक्सपीरियंस ही अच्छा ना हो तो आदमी क्या करे बताओ.
होगा मैडम, होगा. समय आएगा अच्छा.
सारी दुनिया बुरी नहीं होती है.
सारी दुनिया बुरी नहीं होती है.
मैंने तो कभी नहीं कहा सारी दुनिया बुरी होती है.
तो अच्छे लोग मिल ही जाते हैं. कितने अच्छे लोग आए हुए हैं
यहाँ. मुझे कुछ कहना है. अच्छे लोग अच्छे हैं या बुरे हैं, वो जानने के लिए हमें एक्सपीरियंस करना जरूरी है.
Very true. I am completely agree with Parini.
सिखा के जाता है कुछ ना कुछ. हम लोग कुछ से भी कुछ सीख लेते हैं.
I completely agree with Parini.
चलो, great. I think
उनसे भी कुछ ना कुछ सीख लेते हैं.
Correct. So Rubal, I think we are ready for the panel discussion, and people will keep on joining. People will keep on joining when the panel discussion is happening. And since when you were speaking, Parini purposefully raised the hand by saying that no, even if you want to check whether that person is good or bad, you need to meet that person. Yeah. So let me start with you, Parini. Okay. And for the all the people who are attending. So if you look at when we were discussing about your life and all, you did mention that during your married life also, that particular so-called double parenting and a marriage was like a dead marriage, almost for say 11 years.
Yeah.
So even though single parenting normally we believe is after uncoupling or widowism or divorce or separation, but in your case, even in the married life, you were actually playing a role of a single parent.
Yeah.
So take us through your journey of single parenting as a married mother.
So as a married mother, the only thing, one benefit that I had is okay, for the namesake, I was Mrs. and my daughters had a father. That is it. Iske alawa, he had not played any role. except for kind of just being there for my daughters. When there is a parent-teacher meeting, when there's an annual day, when probably when there's a family get-together. So we presented ourselves as a family and we showed people, okay, we are a happy family. But within, we both knew that we were not happy with each other. It was only for our children we were staying together.
So when did you took the call, and why did
Okay.
you took the call of keeping this dead marriage alive, but you thought enough is enough? So was it your call or your daughters made you think so?
Yeah. So just about me, I have two daughters. My elder one is now 22 and the younger one is 19. And they both are currently in Canada. The elder one is working, the younger one is studying. Okay, so I took divorce. I took this decision after 18 years of my marriage, staying in a dead marriage for 11 years. I took a call when my elder daughter told me, Mom, now it's enough. How much will you take in? Now you should have your own life. I am also going to go away to Canada. How will you manage things? Who will be your support at that moment? So my daughters were like my best friends during my difficult phase of life. And why I stayed in a dead marriage for such a long time, the only reason was, again, my daughters. My elder daughter was diagnosed by neurocardiogenic syncope. So this illness is out of 1 lakh, one child get this illness. So which she was facing, she was going through that. And during this thing, doctors had told me, she was just 10 years old at that time. Doctors had told me that not to give her any sort of excitement. Excitement as in, even if it's a birthday and I give back a gift, I cannot do that because her heart rate would increase and that would trigger to her episodes. So I had to, and I could not give her any sort of surprises nor any sort of shocks. So I chose to be with them, be with her especially, and continue with this marriage. So Vikram, I think I have answered your question. It's only because of my daughters I was there in this marriage.
I think Vikram's connection is lost out here.
Could be.
Parini, I have one question here till Vikram has joined.
Yeah.
That is, as you told about this particular disease, because I lost my husband due to also a unique disease. This is the Steven Johnson syndrome, which has been like hold on 10 lakhs people, one person is suffered from that disease. It is also that kind of different kind of disease in which the mucous membranes of all of the body are damaged itself. They are damaging itself. It's like that, and it is a life-threatening disease, and only the cure is that you need to be steroids, which are having already other types of things are there, right? So I need to ask, for this particular disease of your daughter, what kind of suffering she need to be have, and how much time it gets? It is a cure type of disease, or you discontinued with an?
So after consulting a lot of neurologists, only one doctor, that's Dr. Satish Khadilkar, he's the head dean in the neurology department in JJ Hospital. He kind of gave us a hope that as she will grow, the episodes will reduce. And also the weather which is there in Mumbai, humid weather doesn't permit with her body types. That is the reason we chose a cold country where she could, at ease. And by God's grace, once when she went, she was 17 when she flew to Canada. That time she had one episode. It's been 4 years, she is there now. By God's grace, not a single episode has happened.
Great.
So I guess maybe I kept her away from the atmosphere of the house, of the country, as well as we took utmost care and precaution. And now she's aware. Before the episodes, whatever feelings she used to get before, she was not very vocal about it because she didn't know कि उसको क्या हो रहा है. She used to just feel hot अंदर से, and she used to turn blue when she used to faint. But now, before the episode, she's at least able to tell me, Mama, this is what is happening. Please, somebody be with me. That way.
Yeah. So it is a life-threatening kind of disease?
It was kind of till she was not able to tell us, because most of these episodes happened when she used to go to washrooms in the night.
Okay.
So that is the time the pain used to come, any sort of pain, like even if she cuts a finger and she has a pain, that could also trigger to her episodes.
Okay.
So if she collapses in the bathroom, then there were severe chances of brain hemorrhages.
Okay.
So that is the reason I left my designing completely and I joined her school as a teacher also.
Oh,
So there was a lot of shift in my career also.
yeah, definitely. All these kind of things are effect on all aspects of life.
Yeah.
They make us changes. Yeah.
Thank you, Snehil.
Thank you,
Am I-
Parini.
Am I
Yeah,
audible
you're
now?
welcome.
Yes, Vikram, you are audible.
So we'll come back to Parini regarding
We
the.
cannot hear you.
You
I mean,
can't
your
hear.
volume is very low.
Now is it coming?
It was better before.
Hello. How is it now?
It's not good, Vikram.
It's
Hello.
low.
Your sound was much better before this.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened.
How is your internet connection?
It's full. It's a desktop and
Your voice is kind of breaking. I think this microphone maybe.
Hello, how is it now?
Good.
Am I audible?
Much better.
Parini?
It's
Better
much
now.
better now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for the patience. So I think Parini will come back to your career also, which you spoke about briefly. But let me come to now Debasree. So Debasree, in Parini's case, she was brave enough to ensure that her daughter doesn't get any kind of excitement or surprise because she has to ensure that her health is taken care of. And eventually, when she was aged enough as a daughter, she told that Mama is enough. This marriage is only for namesake. It's better that you also move on and take the call. So let's come to you, Debasree, and take us through your starting point of single parenting. How it happened to you?
Yeah, actually, I don't want to make it much bigger, but yeah, I had gone through a horrible toxic marriage for more than 10 years. And I was a victim of domestic violence, which I'm not very proud to say about that. But yeah, I was. Yeah, instead of being educated enough, working enough, but like I would say, because of our typical upbringing or whatever, I kind of was tolerating those kind of abuse or domestic violence on myself. I'm not very proud to say that, but I had compromised even with such kind of situation for the sake of my son, that time, because somehow I didn't want to make him a part of a broken family or raise him in absence of his father. So, but throughout that journey of that abusive married life, I had been a very weak lady, Vikram, with a very low self esteem, who had somehow believed that she was the one who deserved to be mistreated like that. So I had kind of believed that, you know. With that, what's why I was saying, maybe the typical Indian upbringing in which a girl from her childhood is actually taught that a well-behaved, well-compromised woman is the only person responsible, to make her married life happy. So maybe that was a reason of such kind of weak attitude of mine that time. Anyway, so I was going through that, and it took long years for me to realize. But one fine day, by God's grace, that too after death, tragic death of my mother, one fine day I got to realize what wrong I was doing so far by accepting those wrong things happening around me. I understood I was doing wrong not only with myself but also with my little son too. On one side, I was compromising with that kind of toxic environment for the sake of my son, but ultimately, was I really able to give him an enriching environment for his upbringing? I questioned myself. No, rather, he was learning how it was okay to disrespect a lady by seeing his own mother mistreated or disrespected for on everyday basis, right? So I think that was the time, kind of. So when I told myself enough is enough, and I finally got to gather some strength and decided to move on, and finally got separated. So mainly for the purpose of raising a child in a better positive environment. Yeah, it was not that easy when I ultimately like for this process was not easy. It was kind of challenging. I had to going through a lot. But ultimately everything fell in place. And finally, after getting the divorce, after 4 years of struggle, I remember of celebrating that occasion, by throwing
Very
a
good.
party.
Very good, Debasree. Very good, Debasree. And good to know that you brought the aspect of how in Indian society we have to also stop typecasting women by saying
Yeah,
that
we
compromising
need
is
to,
your life part. And
yeah, through my life, I understood one thing. We need to, uh, tell our children,
Mhm, mhm,
previously our parents used to tell us,
mhm,
like you need to compromise for a happy uh, family kind of
mhm,
or happy
mhm.
married life. But we need to tell, especially maybe our girl child, that
Very
you
true.
should understand the limit where to draw. Yes, compromising is required, but at what level?
Not at the cost of
Yeah,
self-respect.
exactly, and exactly
Correct.
not at the cost of your
Mhm.
self-respect.
And best
So,
part
and
was you
I,
also realized that it's not good for the son because what he's seeing is not
yeah.
something which he should be seeing at that age.
Also, another thing I had realized, that that time I realized this too, that if myself being such independent,
Hmm.
educated lady, being me, is if tolerating such things,
Mhm.
I try to understood other women who are not actually independent enough.
Correct.
So
Correct.
why,
Correct.
how they are going to like adjust or manage all these
Very true.
things?
Very true. Thank you, Debasree, for starting the conversation and telling us the truth about what has happened to you. And I'm sure many women in India has gone through physical violence and domestic violence and the way they treat themselves. And good that you were very honest to say that it was actually impacting their entire self-esteem of accepting that this is what life is and we need to continue. So we'll come back to you, Debasree. Let me come to Tanmay. Hi, Tanmay.
Hi Vikram. Hi everyone. Good
Hi,
evening.
Tanmay. Hi, Tanmay. Good evening, first of all, and thanks for being a part of this panel discussion.
My
So,
pleasure.
when we were discussing Tanmay, you spoke about a very good thing about your life is that the single fatherhood, when it happened to you, was not something which happened in a scenario in which life might have some support or something brighter to you.
Yeah.
And best part about when I was discussing with you was also about a very emotional, traumatic experience of losing your wife to a disease, and then
Mm.
all of a sudden it happened. You never imagined that you'll be managing two kids on your own. And very good part when I was discussing with you is that in your entire family of yours, nobody could even dream that Tanmay can take care of kids. If you look at the entire perception about you as a younger brother or you know the family siblings, all of them became very shocked that how will he take care of two kids. So it actually came as a very, what do you say, one is the grief and the pain of losing a wife, and second is taking care of two childs. So take us through your journey of when it happened. How was your response to this?
Well, Vikram, thank you so much. And firstly, it's an honor and pleasure for me to be, talking about some of these things. Actually, to be honest, let me start with a confession. Even I was surprised with my own abilities. I didn't kind of realize that. And it just happened that, life was going wonderful. My wife, myself, we're doing very well professionally, and kids couldn't have asked for anything better. And then one fine day, we suddenly get the news that she is diagnosed with cancer. And we tried very hard for a period of about 10 months, in fact. And in spite of our best of effort, uh, we couldn't save her. I mean, she's gone. And this happened in February of 2020. Now, when obviously it was a very difficult moment for us because pehle to ye hota hai ki that how can something like this happens to me? I mean, this happens to other people. It doesn't happen to me. And then, especially when your life is going perfect, and then you start thinking, kiski nazar lagi, kya tha, and all of that kind of a thing will actually happen. And then, obviously, ye tha ki now it's time to kind of, get back to the usual part, go to office, kids will go to school, the usual part will happen. And that will actually be very helpful in kind of distracting your mind, because what happens is that you need some distraction, you need social blending, you need, to be with people, because that actually helps you to take out of yourself without grief and that trauma, the pain, and everything. But in my case, I had a double whammy. A month later, when I was expecting this to happen, that's when COVID hit. So, from a social blending point of view, it became social distancing. From interaction, it became completely, isolation kind of a thing for me. And they say that if you really want to punish someone, don't hit them 100 times. Just put them in solitary confinement for a month, and they are completely dead. I was in that similar situation, because I just had no one, because I had my just two small kids. My daughter was just about 6.5 years old, 6 years old. My son was 9 years then, and it was pretty difficult for me. And now here I'm thinking that how will I be able to do this thing? Because what I was like 41 and a half when I lost my wife. And I was thinking that, what do I do now? Because, life is much bigger and I've got these two small kids. How will I do it? Especially with the kind of an image that I had of myself, that I am like probably not good to take care of, of course I was very attached to my kids and I was involved in the household work. But this whole perception was always there, and not just within me, but my whole entire family, including my mom. And they used to think, "Ki, how will this guy take care of the two kids now?" But somewhere, and that was a big worry for them. And but then somehow, you kind of, gain strength, and you think that, yeah, मैं नहीं करूँगा तो फिर और कौन करेगा? And again, what happened was that this 6 months or that COVID period was a learning time for me, simply because actually there was no support. Even if I want someone, no one could come to me. I can't go and buy food. So here my challenge was, how do you tie a hair of a small 6-year-old kid? How do you cook food? I know a little bit of it, but to do it on a fun basis is a different experience. But to do it on a regular basis to feed your kids and yourself is a different experience for you. So while everyone is looking at Amazon, Netflix, I was looking at cookery videos to see how do you make food. And that's you kind of realize that how challenging it was, a different kind of challenge for me. And then taking care of kids, helping them in studies, giving them breakfast during various time slots that they actually have during this online school, and then household work and everything. It is not that I kind of gain a lot of respect for a lot of women who do these things, but it was just that it was a different challenge for me. And yeah, I mean, things have been extremely difficult for me for the first 6 months, but it was the worst time of my life, I would say. And then I kind of realized that if I can deal with this, if I can go through this journey of 6, 7 months, because after 7 months things eased out, you can order food. My parents came in for a few weeks, few months. Then I thought I can handle anything. And I kind of realized that in that 6 months, how did I manage that? So for me, it was a great experience in the sense that it made me much, much more mature. It made me much more wiser. And I know that today, except for my own health, and probably to the point where my kids grow, I don't have any fear now. My only one fear is, what if something happens to me? And by the way, during that COVID time, when you see people dying around you, it was a crazy situation for me, because now I'm single parent, don't have anyone. If something happens to me, nothing happens. And there was a time, by the way, wherein it was not COVID, it was just a viral. My daughter had viral. A day after that, my son had viral, and 2 days later, I had viral. So all three of us used to have different temperatures: 104, 102, 101. But again, you have to do it. So I had that worst time. So now today, when I look at that thing, I think, what, nothing can now deter me, and nothing can now push me back.
Very proud of you, Tanmay, that you actually passed that journey. For a lot of us who are single father, it's actually tough, especially household, kitchen, tying that choti for our daughters and ensuring that that entire shape is exactly the way school.
I've become pretty good with all these things now. Huh? I can,
Fantastic.
fight to any moment now.
Fantastic, fantastic, Tanmay. So let's come to Hemant. Hi, Hemant.
Hi, Vikram.
So Hemant,
Hi.
if you start your journey of single parenting, in which for you three things came together when single fatherhood came to you. Clear. If I look back and understand your story and your life, I realized that you had a lot of family dispute going on, which you were managing as so-called the elder of the family. You had your own father's death happening in the same period. So you were in different grief of losing your own father, and divorce was also coupled with it. So it was like almost one, two, three happening in a very short period of time. And many of us, as Tanmay spoke, even one thing happening like that shakes us. We don't know how to cope and how to continue in life. So take us through your journey of this multiple things happening to you. So definitely you became single father, but you are losing your own father, you have your family dispute going on, which you are only managing for entire family. So take us through that journey of.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Vikram, for getting everyone on board for this kind of an event. So I'll start with something like, there's a motto I follow in life. It goes like, live life powerfully and the life you love. So for me, life is very important. So during my situation, when a lot of things happened during my time. I used to have a company which works primarily in South America, Brazil. So I was busy handling that company. So when the situation hit me, my father had cancer. He was going through treatment and he passed away during that time. At the same time, we had a family disputes going on for property and everything with my own family members. So that was something. And in this, just after my father passed away, in a short span of time, I had to face a situation of separation. My son was around 6 to 7 years old during that time. And whatever happened, I had just had to. My situation was that when my father actually passed away, I could not even cry because so many things were going at that given time. And like what Tanmay said, something hits you off at unexpected at that situation. It really hits you bad. But through my previous experiences of life, I've always believed the motto what I just shared with you. Okay, we have to kick asses during this time, to stand up, because nobody's going to come and pay your bills. So you have to stand up for your own self. So I just had to get up, stand up, and start taking things into control and start resolving things on it one by one. So when things were happening, after my father passed away, I started taking care of situations, especially taking the custody of the child with me, which was primarily very important. Correct. Because circumstances were such where I had to take the custody of my child with me. I took that. Along with that, I had to start handling the family disputes, which are still continued, but now I've already handled major portion of that. It has been done. And after father passing away, I had to become the man of the house. So I made sure everything was controlled. And as I said, for me, life is so beautiful. You just need to take charge of it. And everything falls into place.
Great, Hemant. This is something which many of us who know you and who keeps on getting a lot of inspiration from you, we believe that you do indirectly has this zeal of just living the life the way it is. We have never seen you complaining about life. We are always seen you that, okay, this is what has come to me. So let me not stop smiling and let me just hug the life.
Life is unpredictable.
Completely agree.
So live in the moment what you are in.
So let's come to this panelist who has seen again this kind of scenario, Snehil. So in your case, Snehil, when I was trying to understand your parenthood and single parenting, you had, like Parini also spoke about, your husband has this very, very bad disease or a syndrome, Steven Johnson, which actually happens to 1 out of 10 lakh people.
Yeah.
And in your case, you were pregnant, you were about to deliver, and before that only your husband Vijay was actually in the hospital. And you were sharing to me that, sir, When I came back after delivering Rachel, actually we three came together. Three of us came together to back home because he was suffering from this deadly disease. And doctor were very clear in saying that it's a very, very rare disease and very, very dangerous to life. And you took charge as a mother and then you came back. So take us through this experience of which Hemant also spoke about. Sometimes life just gives you multiple challenges at a time. You were supposed to take care of your husband, you are supposed to take care of your little baby, and you are in the mood of, as Hemant told, he didn't got the chance to cry also. And probably for you also it was husband and motherhood came simultaneously. So take us through your journey of.
Yeah, Vikram, thank you so much. As I'm completely agree with Hemant that sometimes life comes to you in a way that life prepares you for the worst thing, basically. So the Stephen Johnson syndrome happened to my husband. I found that each and every stages of his life is like that he suffered with a different decision or after in every 6 months. It's like heart attack. It's like avascular necrosis, which is the drawback of steroids, which is given at the time of for curing the Steven Johnson syndrome. So what happened to him in the after 6 to 8 months, he suffered from avascular necrosis. Due to avascular necrosis, in which the hip bones of both the legs are completely damaged, so we need to be perform a very big surgery in which he was on the bed for the 3 to 4 months. I need to take care of him and my kid simultaneously, both act as kid. Like I handle my kid like in such a way, like feed him susu potty. At the same time, I have to do with my husband because he's also he was also on bed. After recovering from that, after 6 and 7 months, his first attack is going to that happened to him. Then after recovering of that, again after 2 3 months, second heart attack, third heart attack, and then the first lung is damaged. So these is the series of that drawbacks of that steroids is happened to him basically. And in each kind of thing, I was in a hospital for every time 15 days, 20 days, sometimes in the last time when the he was collapsed. Before that, I was in 4 to 5 months in the hospital. Even I don't know how my kid is raised. At that time, my mother is a very big support for my son because I never spoke to him. I never saw how the first step taken by him. So these kind of things happened to me initially, but each and every moment that I passed in the hospital make me a strong lady. In case of how to handle the hospital, how to handle a patient, how to handle a husband, lot of things, how to handle a son also because he needs, even though Nani is also there with him, but always a kid is always required father also and mother also. So that is also the challenge for me, but each and every time I just overcome that my primary responsibility to take care of my husband, and I just take care of my son. After third point, that is I take care of my house. So my experience is that life comes to me in a way, it was like एक एक स्टेप दिया उसने मुझे कि अब और स्ट्रांग हो जाओ, अभी और स्ट्रांग होना है, अभी और स्ट्रांग होना है, फिर नेक्स्ट सीढ़ी. एंड देन दैट हैपेंड टू मी. So when I lost him, that is very tough because I never thought of कि ऐसा हो सकता है. ये तो सोचा ही नहीं था मैंने कभी भी. बट जब वो हुआ तो शायद मैं प्रिपेयर हो गई थी, इतना सब कुछ झेल चुके थे मेंटली. सो आई वाज टू मच स्ट्रांग एट दैट टाइम. तो मेरे केस में मुझे ये जरूर रियलाइज होता है कि आपको प्रिपेयर कर देता है लाइफ इनिशियली, पहले से ही वो तैयार करता है, कुछ होने वाला रहता है उसके लिए. सो वो दैट इज द थिंग. एंड आफ्टर दैट आई ऑलरेडी told Vikram earlier when we had discussion with the Satish sir that my son is the very big strength. And the second thing is also I found that my job, that is also helped me out to be come out from all that trauma. That is a very big support for me. Both the two things actually stands me right now. I'm at this particular place. That is the
strength.
Thank you, Snehil, for sharing. And I'm sure when we are listening to each one of you, Hemant, Tanmay, Parini, Debasree, Snehil, Satishji, a lot of inspiring story of how life throws you in a challenge of single parenting, whether we wished or not, and how this inspiring single parents have taken their journey and did what best they could do for the entire kids or family or probably themselves, which will come later. But let me bring Niyatii into picture. Hi, Niyatii.
Hi, Vikram.
I'm sure, Niyatii, you also as a panelist might be drawing a lot of inferences, and you are somebody who deals and also coaches a lot of such parents, and it's truly inspiring to listen all of them.
Sure.
So, Niyatii, from your expert point of view as a parenting coach, tell us about various types of fears which normally a single parent faces and how do they deal with it.
So to begin with, I know it's a lot, many minutes into the panel, but thank you once again for bringing me here and being able to talk to single parents, because this is one community who genuinely is looking for a lot of information and very, with a lot of authenticity. It's not about, let's go for a workshop. It's genuine concern and worries and everything. And as you very rightly asked, what are the fears that I have seen in my almost 15 years of child development and parenting that I have been into? So while everybody was also talking, I was constantly making notes because these are exactly from real life instances. So a few of the fears is, I am alone. How will I manage? How Tanmay was speaking about, even I surprised myself. So yes, when usually life kind of throws it at you, you will come around. But before that, because we don't know our capabilities, maybe there are other challenges. The question or the fear of, I am alone. How am I going to do this? What will happen? Like, will I be able to manage? So that is the first fear. A few things like, again, how he mentioned was, what if I die tomorrow? Who's there for my children? So that is a very big fear, and they don't even talk about it. See, other things, they will still look for support. They will look for some answers around, but these deep-rooted fears, like, what if tomorrow something happens to me? Now, honestly speaking, this is not the question only of a single parent. This also is a question of parents who are together, like the father and the mother, because most of the times there is one parent who's looking after the child, or the children. The other one is maybe outside providing, doing the other things. So even these parents kind of have this fear of, what if I die tomorrow? Who will I leave my children to? So this is another fear that came to my mind. Now, in case if you've lost a wife, then one of the fear of the father will be, who will be the mother to my child, and vice versa. So if you don't have a husband, or you're single, you've divorced, or any other reason, you don't have a husband, it always feels like, who will be the father? Who will play sports with my children? Who will teach, cooking? So who will fill each other's shoes, or who will be the role model? There has to be some male person or a female person where they can take that role model from. So that is also one of the constant insecurity and thought that single parents have. Financial security to hoti hai if the parent, or the single parent is not working. I'm not looking into the gender right now. It holds true for anybody in this situation. So somebody who is not earning also has the financial insecurity, the fear of, how will I manage? What will I do? How will I, have a work-life balance? Mm-hmm. That is another fear. And a couple of other, what will I say, social fear of, what are people going to say? How am I going to deal with this? Log kya kahenge is one of the biggest fear I think all of us have for different aspects and phases of life. And one more fear is, even though we have our parents who might support us or who are supporting us, we constantly feel like they should not be the ones taking care of us. This is my responsibility. I want to do this. I want to be here. Or a fear, something like, what if tomorrow my parents are not with me? So these are the few, that come on the top of my mind, that there are a lot of these kind of fears that single parents usually have.
Completely agree, Niyatii. Thanks for putting it in a bucket, because that is what many of us partially or fully would have experienced. That brings me to Parini. Parini, hi.
Hi.
So Parini, that time when you closed your first round of interaction, I did mention to you that we will come back to you and ask you, why did you took the job of teaching in your daughter's school? There was a very solid reasoning behind that.
Yeah.
So please take us through that. Why did
So,
you took the teaching course in your daughter's school?
so basically, by profession, I'm a fashion designer and a celebrity stylist. And I was running my boutique, and I'm in this profession now since 26 years. So back then, when my daughter was diagnosed by that illness, doctors had suggested me not to leave her alone in anywhere, be it anywhere. So in schools, obviously, I couldn't be with her in the class, but I used to wait outside. I used to go to drop and pick her, and I used to stay there. And in school, there was a buddy allotted for her who would accompany her when she goes to the washroom. And outside the washroom, there were didis kept for her. Each and every classroom had how to handle if Rutvi has any episodes of fainting during that time. So they knew what to do. Her oxygen level used to go low. Her pulse rate used to come down to 38. She could go to coma any moment. It was that way. It was that bad at that moment. So then I decided, now sitting outside the school, what will I do all the time? And suddenly I see a board of ECCF teacher training course, which was happening in her school. So then I took up that course for a year. And then that is how I was given the best teachers award in that year, and they absorbed me in that school.
Wow.
So which also helped me financially, since they both my daughters were studying in IG school. You all know how the fees is, right? So then I got concession of 50% of their fees since I was working in the same school. So it helped me both, like, fees wise also, and I could spend time with my daughters. I could get holidays when they have a holiday. We used to come and go together home. So
Thank
it's
you.
a very good time. And they used to feel very proud, oh, my mama is a teacher.
One as a teacher. Very, very well said, Parini. In fact, one of the delegate, Rubal from Chandigarh, when I was taking her advice about residential school, she did mention to me that, Vikram, I was at the peak of my corporate career, but then when single parenting happened to me after divorce, I purposefully joined a residential school as a warden or as a caretaker and as a teacher, so that I can just take care of my daughter, because there is nobody to take care of her. Rubal, I hope you are listening to me, and thanks for inspiring many of us who realize that sometimes we are not in a position to compromise on corporate career. You did this for your daughter, and you mentioned to me last time कि Vikram अब तो बहुत बड़ी हो गई है, she's going to college and all, but I'm sure she knows all the so-called productive sacrifice which you did. And Parini, I'm so happy that you did that during that time, because you felt that is important, because she needed, and you also wanted to look out for your daughter. At the same time, today when I look at you, you're designing. Parini's designer, which is your label, is also growing. So somewhere the God was kind enough that your passion was not dead. It's still there, and we are very happy that that thing which you left because of your daughter is still alive, kicking, and you are doing everything right for your fashion and boutique. Great, Parini. Thanks for sharing this. Now let me come to Debasree. Debasree, you remember when I was also struggling, as Tanmay was saying, my younger daughter was growing, and I was also trying to do as much as I can as Tanmay, as a single father.
Right.
And I was little bit, when I was talking to you, told me, Vikram, the reason why in fact, it was not you who told Rebo to join residential school. It was reverse decision making, if I recall that. He told you, कि Mama, I saw a board of residential school, something like that, and allow me to go. And he was in 4th grade, and it takes a lot for parents like us to just allow. But he almost snatched that decision from you, saying that allow me to go. So take us through your journey as a mother. Okay, what happened and why he told you to allow him to go, and how it helped you also.
Yeah, as you said, actually, I had no hand in it. The decision to go for that day boarding school was entirely my son's decision. And now, what happened was, after we were almost eloped from my ex-husband's house and started living separately, we had our own struggle and challenges, both of my son and myself. So I think somewhere my son was also used to getting traumatized, thinking that he may end up being taken back to his father's house or someday. So, anyways, one day when we were out, so we saw that board hoarding of a local residential school offering that time uh, of facility of weekend boarding as well, you know. So he got interested. He asked me that, Mama, let's go there and check it out. So we went to that school, we saw all the facilities, and both of us actually liked it a lot. And then he insisted that was interested to go to that school as a weekend boarder. But I was the one who kind of disagreed at the time, because that time he was only in fourth standard. And I told him, why now? Now you are so little. Afterwards, we can reconsider about it. But then he was the one who ultimately convinced me that sooner got there, the sooner he would be able to adjust or cope with the new life there. And at the same time, he would be able to engage with so many extracurricular activities over there, you know. So he himself, he gave the entrance exam, got qualified, and got, I call it as he enrolled himself there. It's like that. So mystically, it happened actually, and ultimately it came out to be a good decision, because it worked pretty well, and he's doing good there by God's grace. And at the same time, I'm also able to concentrate on my office work and also on my self care. The whole week we spend we like are engaged with our works, and at the weekend we spend quality time together.
Very
So it worked pretty well actually.
great, great, Debasree, and good to know that a fourth grade student can also tell us that this is the right thing to do for me and for you. So it was good for.
Mystically, I kind of give this credit to God as well.
Correct.
Sometimes the higher power also guides us, you know.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, Snehil, in your case, you did mention, which I told you will come to you, is that work kept you going, in the sense that you did mention to me that at that time, even even Rachel was very supportive as a son to you. Your mother was there, but your own work, definitely you have to take care of financials and all. But you also mentioned that work was helping you also to sail through that life of uh, uh, single parenting.
Yeah, as when I was work, as you everyone knows that I am a educationist by profession. So I used to be with mostly time with the kids. That is maybe that is college going kids, and most of the time spent with them to time and lot of teaching, lot of understand. As I am a software engineer and used to taught with the MCA students. So as you know that lot of technology changes. So I am into currently like that. Each and every time I'm start with the learning a new subject and going to the class, teach them. So I have lot of thing to learn every time in terms of my studies, as well as I need to spend the time with the youngsters. So that is when you are with the like in the class of the for 50 60 student, they are young, they are having a lot of positive energy with them. So that will already give you a lot of positivity in you. That as we all know that when we were young, so we have a very different kind of energy, we have a different kind of dreams, and we think about that we fight with the world, we win the world, and that kind of energy with them. So those kind of energy I used to with them almost 6 to 7 hours in whole day. So I think that energy supplies to me, giving me the strength, as well as the second thing is that the learning each and every time new technologies, new subjects keep me busy. So that kind of thing, also the sense of responsibility towards new life uh, give me the means I'm busy with a lot of things, so I don't have
Correct.
much time to think about that some kind of depression, kind of negativity that didn't touch me at all, because I don't have much time, and rest of the time is with me be with my son. So that
Correct.
kind of, that's why I found that my work is the very big
Big
strength.
support.
Yeah.
Agree with you, Snehil. Tanmay, when we were discussing about a very strong societal perception about so-called single parents, and you have gone through, I have gone through, many of us have gone through, and that is more to do with कि भाई बच्चे कैसे हैं, घर कैसा है, खाना खिला पा रहे हो, बट इन दैट एंटायर जर्नी ऑफ अवर इवन क्लोज वन ब्लड रिलेशंस एंड वेरी क्लोज फैमिली मेंबर्स, दे फॉरगेट टू आस्क तन्मय तू कैसा है, how are you doing. If you look at normally the perception is that भाई बच्चे कैसे हैं. So I'm sure you have also gone through, I have also gone through this, and sometimes we feel यार ठीक है बच्चे ठीक है भाई, हम खिला रहे हैं, सब पल रहे हैं, and we feel कि nobody is asking your mental health, your emotional health. सबको लग रहा है तुम बाहुबली हो तो चलो कर ही लोगे, अब सिंगल पेरेंट बने हो तो तन्मय take us through that experience कि sometimes no you feel यार fine I'm doing what I can do, but nobody is asking how are you doing Tanmay, how is your life, mental balance, emotional health.
Vikram, you're bang on, and कोई बाहुबली नहीं होता है, but you become Bahubali because situation, life, circumstances don't give you a choice. So I have this saying that the bravest man is the one who has got either nothing to lose, because if you've got nothing to lose, then you won't care. I mean, you will do, the bravest thing that you can do. Or the bravest man can be the one who has got everything to lose. So that means you will do everything possible to, make sure that you hold on to things. It depends on which side of spectrum you are. And you are right. This actually happened many times, and I kind of didn't realize this till very late. So people would obviously, ask me that, oh, how are kids? How is Ara, Vinisha, my kids? They are doing. I say, yeah, they're doing fine. Oh, how are they coping up? So I was to tell them this. And again, the good part about kids is because they're always in their present, so probably they're not thinking multiple things at the same time. Whereas we guys do that. So I said, oh, yeah, they're doing fine. And because my wife's father, my father-in-law would also was staying with us for most of the time, and people would know, oh, how's uncle doing? How's Viri's father doing? Yeah, it was very difficult for him. Yeah, it's obviously difficult. And then all of these things will happen. And they said, oh, it's tough time, and you guys are managing and all of that. So this is the conversation which used to happen, and then other things. I didn't realize, and I'm being very honest with you, Vikram, I didn't realize till many, many months passed away until one of my very old friend who stays in the US, she called me and she asked me that, so Tanmay, how are you doing? I said, yeah, my kids are fine. Standard, that you just have the same thing. So someone asked me the question and you just give the same standard reply. So someone said, so she asked me, how are you doing, Tanmay? I said, yeah, kids are fine. They're doing well. She asked me again, how okay? Yeah, father-in-law is also. And then she said, Tanmay, I'm asking, how are you doing? And probably that was the first time I realized that actually there is a question like this also. And I kind of came to the conclusion that, you know what, I realized that almost 85% or 90% of the people that I've spoken to had never ever asked me this thing. Because people think, especially in case of, a man, people think, ye sambhal gaya hoga. He would have coped up with this thing. And that's again the biases that we actually have, that we say that, oh, he sambhal gaya hoga, he is a man, ye ho jata hai, men don't cry. I mean, I cry like anything. But men don't cry. And बच्चे पहले पूछ लो, old father-in-law को पूछ लो. जबकि my father-in-law was far better able to handle because he's very pragmatic, very practical. He says किसी को जाना तब चलेगा, you can't move on. So he moved on 2 months के अंदर और मैं यहाँ पे 4 महीने तक बैठ के रो रहा हूँ मैं. So the whole thing was that, then I realized that actually this is how unfortunate it is that people don't think about it. So, and I think at the end of the day, first the question is that, how are you? Because if I am fine, I will make sure that other things are also fine in terms of my, my kids, my family members, and the way I do. Because I am the source. And if there's a problem with the source, then I think there's a problem. And it's, then flight ki pehle apna mask pehn lo, fir baki ko pehna.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Great, Tanmay, and good for bringing this out because sometimes you're right. We are also unaware that we are also supposed to take care of ourselves because of all the questions which we get from relatives
I
and
believe,
friends.
that is, I think one of the things which I will just take a few more minutes. I'll just say that this is one thing which, we don't think about.
Correct.
Because we
Correct.
think, bachche have lost their, father or a mother, then we need to do, over for them. We need to kind of do more than what we can probably do. So at least they don't miss out on something. We need to take care of other things. We need to be, doing this, become like a Superman or a Superwoman.
Correct.
But the reality is that we also need to take care of our health, our well-being, our thought process, right? Our financials. Because see, right now, if I talk about it today, what is my priority number one? My priority number one is to take care of my kids, make sure that they get everything, and give them a good future, right? But how do I do that? I can only do that if I am, physically fine, if I'm, health wise, I'm okay. I'm financially sorted in the sense that, obviously I need money to kind of take
Correct.
care of their requirements,
Absolutely right.
which basically means I'm sorted in terms of my job, my other things. So I have to take care of my priority number one in order to take care of my priority number, priority number two in order to take care of my priority number one, which
Absolutely
is something which is absolutely critical. So I don't think that so you can be called selfish if you start taking care of yourself, start taking care of your well-being.
very well said.
Also go out and meet people to kind of change your mind, do things which will actually maybe a little of a hobby kind of a thing. And people think, "Isko kya ho gaya? Ye to matlab, this is like this guy is chilling out." No, I'm not chilling out. I'm just kind of putting
Wow,
my mind to
very well
balance.
said. Excellent, excellent, Tanmay. I think that brings to the question which Niyatii, you and me, we are talking about. You spoke about the fact that when you do parenting coaching and all, there is a attempt by a father to become a mother, as a single father to become a mother also, or a single mother to become a father also. And there is a concept of helicopter parenting. So then we become so much into parenting that, as Tanmay is saying, sometimes we lose that we also have a life. And tomorrow, if we bounce back like our earlier generation and say that हमने तुम्हारे लिए सब sacrifice किया, this generation says, go to hell. When did I told you that you sacrifice for me? Even if you give me a half roti, I would have eaten. So this generation never takes this. कि हमने तुम्हारे लिए sacrifice किया. उन लोग बोलते हैं हमने कब बोला? हमको खाना नहीं देते तो भी हम सो जाते. I'm exaggerating, but I think Tanmay's point is right that I think so. Take us through your experience of Niyatii becoming a single father and trying to become a mother or a single mother. Yeah,
Before Niti says, I just want to say that I'll tell you what. The kids do watch that you are actually doing things for them. So I would not probably go to the extent of saying that they don't care about it. Maybe in the future they may say, but I think kids also realize that
yes,
people, my father has done or my mother has done it. They may not speak about it,
absolutely,
but somewhere they notice.
Yeah, they learn, and at the same time, when we see generation gaps and all, sometimes we also do not expect our generation to say that we have compromised because of us. So sometimes we used to feel guilty कि यार हमने क्या कर दिया था ऐसे बच्चे की आप compromise कर गए. So what we are saying has a very strong meaning to current generation. And they do not buy this point of what we are saying is right. If you're chilling out, you're chilling out because that is what keeps you active and that is your zone, your me time. I think Snehil want to add something before Niyatii gives expert comments. Snehil, over to you.
Sorry. Vikram and Tanmay, as you told that, my view is the same, but in a different words. That my thought is my first priority is me. I love myself. I care for myself. If I am not love myself, I can't do love to anybody else. If I'm not take care of me, I'm not able to take care of anybody, even though they are my kids. If sometimes, like in the most of the cases of the female, they usually compromise themselves on their family, on their husband, on their kids, on their in-laws. But they are not. Usually, you people saw that females are not happy. Even though they are in the family, they have a good family, husband, everything is fine, but they are not happy because they compromise themselves towards other. So actually, they don't love herself. So my particular thought, I always keep me on my priority. I keep my happy. If I like music, I need to. If I need to go to walk, even though when I compromise my kid, मुझे कभी प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता है. आई ऑलवेज लाइक कि नहीं, पहले मैं जब तक मैं खुद खुश नहीं हूँ, मैं कॉम्प्रोमाइज करूंगी तो मैं फ्रस्ट्रेटेड तरीके से उसको लुक आफ्टर करूंगी कि क्या है यार ये. आई डोंट लाइक इट. अगर किसी मेरे फ्रेंड से मुझे बात करनी है, फोन आया है समटाइम्स, तो समटाइम्स मैं उसको देती हूँ रिस्पॉन्स की व्हाट इज द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ देयर व्हेन ही यूज्ड टू कॉल मी फॉर द पर्टिकुलर थिंग. अगर इम्पोर्टेंट है तो डेफिनेटली मैं वो करती हूँ, बट अगर वो इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है तो मैं उसको एडजस्ट करना चाहिए. यू नीड टू वेट, आई एम विथ माई थिंग ओनली. तो आपको भी ये अंडरस्टैंड करना. तो दिस इज माय पर्टिकुलर.
The priority number one is the first part of the film. Priority number two is the second part of the film. So the film is not complete till the time you don't have both the parts.
Absolutely.
And they don't go, so they both coexist. So that's what I would probably look at. That.
Agree, Tanmay and Snehil. So Niyatii, you were actually talking about helicopter parenting. Plus, you also mentioned when we were discussing that sometimes it does happen that a single father would like to also become a mother, or a single mother would like to become a father. So unnecessarily we are loading ourselves with parenting tasks. So tell us about this kind of feel of guilt and how to handle as a single parent?
Sure. So I think it all summed up very well with what Tanmay and Snehil were sharing. So one thing what I would like to say here is whatever we say or do can be seen in many multiple ways by our children. So if we are taking care of ourselves, like Snehil does, which is very important in a way, because an empty cup cannot pour anything. So if we are not happy, we cannot keep others happy. We are just dragging ourselves to do our responsibility. Even if we take care of ourselves first, there will be children who will say, you are putting yourself first, you're not taking care of me. All right. If you drag yourself to make sure that completing all the responsibilities of both the parents, that child might sometimes say that, who asked you to? So it is the response of the child basically is based on your action first. Are you counting what you did as a responsibility that you were not wishing to take? मैंने तुम्हारे लिए इतना किया. That will only come when it is something that you didn't want and you were given, and you never were ready to take it. See, most of the times the life comes to you and things happen. In that process, what kind of a person are you? Are you a person who will be like, oh, मुझे इतना सारा आ गया और मुझे ये करना पड़ रहा है, or okay, this has now come to me and now I'm going to learn and do my job. Like I don't see Tanmay ever speaking, at least in the last 1 hour, 15 minutes, oh, I had to do this. I did this. I learned this. I watched this. You all were watching Netflix. I watched cooking. So that is what the feeling has to be, wherein you take it as your responsibility because it was your choice to have those children, right? So that was the one thing. Now, while coming, so another point that I wrote, so the pouring cup kind of a thing. So one, are you what is your attitude when you're talking to your children is the kind of response you will get. If you're going to make it count like, I did this for you, they'll say, I didn't ask you to. But from the beginning, okay, now this is very important, which at least 40 years back or 45 years back, my moral science book taught me, learn to say thank you for the smallest thing people do for you. So even if I am doing something for my children, I've always taught them, learn to say thank you. Be grateful for whoever is doing whatever for you. One, the person who is doing, like the parent who is really struggling to be that single parent, is putting in and pouring their lives out, feels appreciated and acknowledged. So that's a very good part of having a relationship with your children. Secondly, your children does not see it as meharbani. You know what I'm saying? They will see it as, my parents did this for me, and somewhere they will have the attitude and the wish to give it back, because the thank you is very powerful. So to answer what we were discussing right now, It is how you go, what you act is the response you're going to get. So that was one part of it. Now the part of filling into each other's shoes, okay? So I have a very close friend who constantly celebrates the Father's Day also, constantly says, I am your mother, I am your father. So one, psychologically, you are burdening yourself double. Two, your children will constantly see, they any which ways know that you are the single parent with them right now, at least till whenever. You are confusing them of the role of a masculine energy and a feminine energy in their life.
Absolutely.
You know how, I don't remember, I think Tanmay only mentioned about having the father-in-law at home, right? Correct. It could have been an aunt, it could have been a mother-in-law, it could have been a neighbor, it could have been a teacher. Let your child experience both the energies. You will have to do what you will have to do. It has nothing to do with the gender role the society is putting in. कि mother का काम ये था, father का काम ये था, हम दोनों काम कर रहे हैं. You are a single parent. You will have to do all of it because the child needs all of that to do, right? But when you put it as a father's role and a mother's role, the child kind of like also feels the burden. You are feeling the burden. Then they feel like, oh, now I can't tell my parents so and so thing. They're already doing two people's jobs. This is coming from the responsibility that you've burdened yourself with as a burden. This also comes because now in today's times, we don't have joint families. We live alone. Okay, so we have to literally look out for some support to come and stay with us. Imagine the same single parenting and being in a joint family. You will never worry about your children, about these little things of, going, picking them up, ya to tuition kahan karna hai, ya to khelega kahan pe. All of that is taken care of. But
Agree.
because we are nuclear, because we have only that 1, 2, or maximum 3 children, we are constantly on their lives. The helicopter parenting comes from there. We are constantly hovering on their life. Have you studied? Have you eaten? Have you played? What are your clothes? Every discipline becomes your job. Every value to teach becomes your job. Every culture, every exposure, everything becomes your job. So what my request would be, don't try to fill in anybody's shoes.
Very well.
Do the best you can and hire other people like teachers, tour operators, neighbors to take them to places with them. That is how your children also become independent, and they will understand that you've done your best. So I think rather than filling each other's gender roles, just do, and you will have to earn your money, you will have to take care of your house. All that is also priority one. In fact, all of this becomes, in my eyes, is priority one.
Agree, Niyati. So we can be a better single father from what we are, or we can be a better single mother from what we are, but we do
Just
not
call
have to
yourself
fill
a single parent and you are done.
Great. Thanks for making our life easy with your expert comment. Let
I
me
hope
come to Hemant. And Hemant, when we spoke about your second marriage, you very well told me that, Vikram, do tell me to share this experience of rebounding. You did told me that, Vikram, that second marriage I just did. I don't know what was there, but I just did. And within 6 months, I realized that it was not the right call of my life. And I again took a second divorce. Or in fact, that marriage didn't materialize so much, and you just walk out of that life. So, but tell us about this. Sometimes even Suresh ji was mentioning that sometimes we are in eager to fill that gap, as Niyatii is saying, and we are in a eager to get into a relationship only because we feel my child will get a mother or my child will get a father. So your own experience about second marriage.
Okay, so what happens, every one of us go through this kind of an experience, that after getting out of a marriage or even a relationship, I'm sure Niyatii, I believe she's a counselor, right? So she would understand it well, that this process of rebound happens to everyone. The same thing happens to people when they get out of marriage. The rebound situation happens, because of peer pressure, two, family pressure. A lot of things do happen around us, and we sometimes succumb to that situation. I did the mistake of getting into that situation, but luckily I realized it at a very early stage and immediately took a step back to get out of it. It was done amicably with the person whoever I was with, but we took a step immediately to get out of it. But this situation does happen with single parents also. And sometimes people start getting into a wrong situation, they don't realize it, and they prolong it again till till you pull up the rubber and it breaks off. So it's better you become aware about it and walk out with the head high. That's
very
what
well said. Very well said, Hemant, about rebounding, and it has to be done with a lot of seriousness and not because just because we want to fill the gap.
And then later on, once you are sure, you know when the right person comes in your life, it just happens.
So let me come to the right person who came to your life in the third marriage, which is Parini. So Parini, when I was discussing with you, I wanted you to take us through your rebound story, in which you spoke about at a particular stage of your life, your parents also told ki, Parini, you can think about marriage, and you have gone through the dating apps, and you had your own experience of good and bad. And somewhere Tejas from one of the dating app also happens to be a person who told you how you can approach. So take us through that journey of scouting for a good match. What happened and what was your experience?
So first of all, my parents wanted me to get married again and settle down, since we are just two sisters and I don't have any brother or anybody. So at the back of the mind, my father was like, who will take care of me? Since I have also two daughters and they would also be somewhere in abroad and not staying in India. So with my daughter's consent, after my daughter said, yes, okay, we also want to see mommy settle down further. So they started looking for a guy for me. And they put me on the marriage bureaus, all sort of marriage bureaus. I was around everywhere. Literally, my father had to kind of, convince people, okay, don't worry, she's got 2 daughters. I was just 38 at that moment. And obviously I had 2 grown-up daughters because mine was a Bal Vivaah. I got married at the age of 18. So then my father actually had to tell them, okay, like, don't worry, I will take care of Parinee's daughters, and only she will come to your house. She will not get her daughters and come. Whereas I had to accept that person's children, but they were not ready to accept my children, and which I did not like at all. So this happened a lot on my Gujarati marriage site, marriage bureaus and everywhere. So then one fine day when my daughter came once to India, she was in Canada at that moment. So we went through a site on Instagram that is Footloose No More. And I thought it must be kind of a marriage bureau again. So she registered me there. And later I get to know, okay, this is kind of a dating site. I did not know that this was a dating site. So, okay, I had an experience over there. Then gradually, along with friends, got onto the other dating apps. And then one of my friends told me, oh, you should get on Divorcee Matrimonial. It is one of the best sites. And my sister-in-law, my ex-sister-in-law found somebody. And now she's in Canada. She's very happy. This, that. And out of curiosity, that night only I registered myself. So when I registered myself, next in the morning, I had 80 likes. And I was like, wow, that's too many likes. So out of that, one guy, he got very serious with me, and we kind of spoke, and my parents got involved, and we found out about his where he's working and everything. Later, I get to know, okay, this guy is already married. He has a child, and I was kind of fooled on this site. I immediately got off it, and then I was like, okay, no more dating sites. I'm done. But again, life gets a little boring when your kids are not around. You're all alone at home doing nothing. I mean, obviously, I had my boutique to run. I got onto Hinge. On Hinge, I was able to make a friend. Okay, my criteria, I already put that I am a mother with 2 daughters. Okay, so I met a friend. His name is Tejas. We met up once, and he was very clear that I'm not looking for a woman who's already with children, but we can meet as friends. I said, okay. So we met for a couple of drinks, and then that time he suggested, Parini, how you should filter your criteria on Hinge, whatever partner you're looking for. Why don't you put that you're looking for a man who wants to get into a committed relation and is a single father who has the custody of the child? So I kind of filtered my criteria, and there I meet my Mr. Right, so-called Mr. Hemant, and that is how we got connected. So I kind of, people say, oh, dating apps are this and that and that. I think we set an example. No, dating apps are like, we both met on a dating app only.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So Hemant, when you were talking about your second marriage, and which was again a bounce back kind of a thing, and probably life, as you rightly told in between, that you always loved life the way it is. You are a person who just love life the way it is. And so this time, Hemant, before I come to other panelists, since we are also getting to the second part of our discussion of life after remarriage. So Hemant, in your case, when you met Parini, in a very short period of time, you told me that, Vikram, I was damn sure that she is the right woman for me, in spite of your second marriage kind of learnings. So normally it happens that when we do second marriage, third marriage, we normally lose hope on judging people or our own ability of. So what is that quality of Parini which you felt, yes, she is the right woman, not only for you, but for your son Aryan?
So first of all, in the beginning, I told you something, that when your rebound happens, when the rebound situation happened, I was not ready. Then I mentioned to you that when you are ready, things fall into place. Okay. So the third situation, I was very clear about what I wanted. So when her profile also came across, I as a father and I saw her as a mother, I was very clear that I'm going for that situation. The person who already has a children. So for me, that was a clear, I was very much ready for it. And when we actually met, we just clicked. And the first thing, I think we met, and within 2 days, I just told her the first thing what I felt. For the first time in my life, I got the feeling of belonging. When I said, I really meant it. And we just connected during that time. Because she was a mother having children. I was a father having my child with me. And we just clicked.
Wow, that's great.
It's like, bolte hain na, ghanti baj gayi.
Wow, kya baat.
Actually ho gaya.
Fantastic. I'll come to the later part of marriage also. But before that, let me come to Tanmay. And Tanmay, in between, when we were talking, you did mention to me that Vikram, music and books were two things which is very close to you. One, and I also it actually those two aspects of your life of reading books, you also authored a couple of books, and music actually took care of yourself. And Snehil was talking about loving yourself. Niyatii was talking about you have to do things which you love. So role of hobby or role of me time or role of do what you love has helped you sail that journey. So take us through your journey of music and books and how that helped you take care of yourself emotionally, mentally.
See, Vikram, in my case, obviously things were a little different because I was going through this experience and this, isolation at the time of COVID, right? So normally, in normal circumstances, you would meet people, you would meet family, relatives, and friends, and that will help you to distract. But when you're all by yourself, of course, there are kids, but how much can you talk to them? Uh, and then there were certain, hours wherein I was just, doing nothing because I was just like, all by myself when kids are watching the TV and all of those things. And that is the time when you kind of, want to something. And I started listening to a lot of music, instrumental fusion, and some of those things. So I love music, but I started listening to a lot of instrumental fusion and some of the different kind of music. That actually helped me because all I would do is that when I know that my kids are watching TV, I know that I won't be disturbed for the next 1.5 hours, right? So I just close my eyes, on my, and just probably listen to some instrumental music, not a meditation, but just simple like that. What I also did was during the day, I had certain, time spans when I would probably have a lot of time, and I thought, no, let me just, write something. And there used to be some workshops I used to do, and so I started kind of penning those thoughts and started penning those things down. And that kind of took a lot of time from me, which basically was a very creatively used time, I would say. Otherwise, what would have actually happened is that when you don't have anything to do, and when you are in that certain stage, then what you will do is just pick up Netflix and Amazon and keep watching series by series, and it's a very addictive thing, by the way. I didn't watch a single minute of television in that 1 year.
Correct.
And again, thanks to my kids also, one would occupy television in the living room, the other would occupy television in the bedroom. So I have left with one, right? So probably I'll go to my bedroom and probably, just listen to music or read something and everything. So reading, listening to music, and then in the day part also writing. Because I thought, let me just kind of encapsulate all these things in a form of a book. Not this experience, but something which I was anyway working on.
Correct.
So I started doing that, and that actually helped me very creatively. I didn't get distracted, in a negative sense. I didn't get into any kind of a depression because I knew that ढाई बजे तक मुझे ये करना है, फिर ऑफिस का काम करना है, शाम को लगभग 7 o'clock and my kids will go down or what they do their thing. From 7 to 10 I have got this thing, बच्चों को खाना दे दिया, सब कुछ कर दिया, then I have this time till about 11. So that's what I was started doing, and that actually helped me a lot because all of a sudden my mind is now focused on that thing. My mind is thinking about what I'm writing. My mind is thinking about what I'm reading. So that actually helped me a lot. अब कितना फोन पे बात करोगे आप?
Agree with you.
So मेरे लिए वो चीज था. So I in fact finished one half book and I finished one full book. So
fantastic.
In fact I finished 2 books that time, writing, which are currently already out in Amazon and Kindle. And then so much of music, different kind of music was a great experience for me. Reading a lot of books. I have I used to buy a lot of books, self development and all of those kind of other books, some autobiographies, but I would not read it. So I'll just buy it and keep it in my library. I've got a good collection of books, by the way, and people get very impressed when they see that I've got so many books. But I don't tell them this other thing, which is that I haven't even read 80% of them. So I started picking up books, and my Kindle became my best friend. So I started doing all of that, and that actually helped me in terms of mentally channelizing my mind.
Fantastic, Tanmay. Great. And I believe, Debasree, when I was talking to you, you also told me, Vikram, and throughout this journey of single parenting and when Ribu also supported in that weekday schools, you also are very, 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 what do you say, you believe in ensuring that you take care of your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. And people like Parini, Hemant, who are close to you, even me, we also know that you will ensure that your meditation is done in the morning, even though it takes 1 or 2 hours. When Hemant was also having this cancer which relapsed, you will ensure that you do Reiki and other prayings which you do. So you have a lot of this energizing your entire mental, physical, and spiritual health. So tell us the way Tanmay used books and how did you took care of, which you always felt that's very important for you to take care of your physical health, mental health, and emotional health.
Yeah, actually, I have a story behind it, I would say. Because of that, I just can't stop emphasizing enough the importance of taking utmost care of your mental health first, I would say. I won't disagree, even after walking out of that abusive marriage and living separately, I was very vulnerable, okay? And I used to feel pity for myself, thinking that, oh, now I'm actually have nobody nearer to me except my son. I was going through depression and almost was losing strength to fight the next journey of life. But then I made myself realize that nobody else than myself can help me to get out of that situation. So, and also I realized that I had so many past traumas. Okay, so I need to heal myself first, and I need to work on my mind and soul first if I really want to take care of my child. So, at that time, that purpose of raising my child in a good environment, that also pushed me to work on myself first. So, I started working on my mind, body, and soul through various tools available. I got into spirituality. And as long as I was healing and progressing on that path, I realized one thing, that my ex husband, he was actually the reason for my growth in my life at many levels.
Oh,
You
wow.
know what I mean to say? So, till today, I can't thank him enough to make me such a stronger, better version of myself.
Wow, very well said. Very
Yeah.
well said.
Also, I have to share another thing with you guys. That time when due to when I was working on myself, so I had done one exercise of mental work where I used to forgive and thank my ex every day or from the core of my heart. Okay,
Very good.
I had forgiven him. I used to do some forgiveness prayer. Okay,
Oh,
and you won't believe, after a few days of doing that exercise, I was actually free from his power or control
negativity.
over me.
Oh, wow.
Not only that, I was free from his fear. So that was the time when I realized the power of forgiveness. Okay. So they actually said it right. When we forgive, we actually are not doing any favor to that person. We actually helping ourselves by
Forgiving.
freeing ourselves from all these
Fantastic.
negative emotions or burdens, whatever you call it. So also I have understood through my life experience that when we have a peaceful content mind, that actually helps us to fight back through various challenges which life
Correct.
generally throws on us.
Completely agree.
At the same time, I understood that our mind is a devil, huh? So if we don't take control of that mind, it can actually take us through hell. Okay, so for that, it is important to continuously work on your mind. Like, मैंने एक
Fantastic.
दिन कर लिया हो गया. It should be
Continuous
everyday
process.
work.
I still remember whenever I used to call you in the morning, you would say, "Boss, this is my meditation time and 1.5 hours." So it was good to see
Yeah.
that you invest so much in yourself,
No,
and
no,
which
no.
Niyatii
That's
also
true.
spoke about that we have to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of all
Yeah.
others who are dependent on us.
So when our mind is at good place, automatically it guides us to take
Guides
proper
us.
right decisions. It takes us to take the proper food. It takes us tells
Correct.
us to take care of your
Exercise,
health, exercise,
spiritual.
everything. It's
Fantastic.
literally in office work also I have seen. Say
Yes,
for
yes.
example, when I was going through this tedious divorce process, at the beginning it used to be like I used to hate to go to call the
Office.
court. And no, to the
To
court.
court, to the
I used to
court.
feel that location as a negative place to go.
Next.
Afterwards, it kind of changed my perception So I used to go to the court to have sabudana ki khichdi. Because you know how
All the
slow is
positive energy started flowing
our
in you.
legal system is. So
Yes, yes.
I further keep it to the dog, to the god, that
Mhm.
when the right time will come, it will
Correct,
fall in place automatically. Now I will not suffer, let my mental peace in
correct,
suffer, you know.
correct.
I was enjoying my life that time also.
Fantastic, fantastic. Very well said. How you channelized and forgived, and
Yeah.
everything helped you to become more
So
contented.
so
So I think
every day, yeah, I spend a lot of time on this deep breathing, in fact,
meditation, deep breathing,
yeah, all these things.
meditation. And
It's
believe me,
very important.
Hemant, Parini, lot many who knows you, we know that how you are so, matlab,
You
so
have seen me how
contented.
happy I am,
Yes,
but at
yes,
the
yes.
same time, my happiness is not dependent on any external factor.
Anybody. That is the
It
best part
is
which we like about
it
you.
is my mantra. I should be happy, but it is always coming within, you know.
Within. No stimuli is required.
No
Fantastic.
stimulation
I think
required.
Snehil is raising the hand before I come to Niyatii and start life after remarriage. Snehil, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Vikram. Debashi, I want to add my experience in to support your opinion about this thing. That these kind of incidents always make you a different kind of person. You
Hmm. Hmm.
like not earlier. So
Agree.
my experience is that when the night when I lost my husband, that I was with him till 12 o'clock in the night. On the next day, I have an exam of my distance education of MBA, so I need to go and prepare for the same. And we plan. He told me that time that please you will come after your exam directly to the hospital. I'm sure, and take Rachel with you also. I just say yes. I do the same, and I buy him and went my home. And in the morning, 4 o'clock, doctors calls me. Please come fast. That something has happened. Like he's not feel good, so we'll took him to the ICU. So okay. Then when I go in the 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe I think I lost him at the 4 o'clock, but doctor told cleared me at 7 o'clock in the morning, and all the situations happen. And also after that particular point, incidents happen in that way. जब भी मुझे याद आता है वो पल, तो मुझे यही लगा कि we everyone have a lot of planning in this time in mind. Like we do this, we do that. In the morning we have to plan everything. Even you don't know what happened in your next moment. If you go out from your house, you don't know you will come back or not. So lot of thing says me कि जब आपको अगले पल का पता ही नहीं है, then how can आप life कैसे जीते? Lots of gossip. I am into like professional politics, lots of things around us, negativity in terms of me
Hmm.
basically. So जब मेरे अंदर ये thought create हुआ, उस incidents ने मुझे ये सिखाया कि पता ही नहीं है. So I feel like I'm just one step above from all these kind of stuff, especially from the
Okay.
negative, like gossips, politics,
Hmm.
all that kind of environment. तो जब लोग मेरे आजू बाजू ऐसे बातें करते थे, relatives, professionally and all, तो I was like कि यार I am not into the part of it. You people don't know यार, तुम अभी घर पहुंचोगे कि नहीं, तुम कल के लिए बकवास कर रहे हो. Just keep मतलब like you love yourself. आप जिसके साथ बैठे हो, जिनके साथ हो, उनसे प्यार से बात कर लो. आपको नहीं पता है एक पल में दुनिया बदल जाएगी आपकी. Your life is completely changed, like 360-degree angle. So this is my experience. Something you learn from those kind of incidents and make you better person.
Absolutely
Thank
agree,
you.
Snail. And you have never been into any kind of politics or gossips. You are very focused of life. Ki boss, I am a single parent. That is one. And second, I need to take care of myself. So that way, what you're saying is right. It helps you channelize energy in direction which helps you and the people who are dependent. So Niyati, before we come to life after second marriage, you remember we spoke about in remarriage, there are a lot of elements of fear, cautions, and also people have either wrong experience in the past, especially after divorce and bad relationships, and also sometimes there is a sense of obligation towards your parents. So take us through this entire journey of remarriage, fear, and opportunity.
So you want me to talk about what are the fears?
fears
Of
and
remarriage?
of remarriage?
Oh, I think the biggest fear is like, will my next partner be the correct partner, the right partner for me? Because we have understood and we have experienced how much it goes into having a relationship. So going through from knowing somebody, just by face or a picture, and then going forward to knowing their hobbies and families, the real knowing the person starts only after a few months. Okay, and then continues, because as we are in the journey of spending our lives with one another, we are changing constantly. So today this is my choice, tomorrow it might not be that. We don't eat the same food, we don't wear the same kind of clothes, we are not making the same choices that we made probably 10 years back. So knowing that it's a longer journey, we at least we want a good start. So I think the first fear is like, will that person, do I really want to get into it? Will that person be the right kind of a person now, especially if the marriage has ended on a bad note? So somebody like I think Debasree had an abusive marriage. She is going to make sure that at least ye to nahi abhi, not anymore. So for her criteria will be very different. Her fears will be very different. For somebody who's lost a partner due to illness, or so they are more vulnerable when they're choosing the partners. They are more soft. They are more open. They are more like, okay, somebody who we can brace our life with. So there are different fears and different reasons why we would choose or not choose to have a partner. Another thing is, a lot of times we feel obligation towards the partner, as in, okay, now that I'm choosing a partner, that partner will also have to take care of me financially. So can I, should probably have a partner who will they take care of me financially because I am not working? Or will they allow me to work because now I don't want to be financially dependent on them? So those are also some questions that, we have, like anybody could have when they are choosing a partner again. So I think all the fears are, one, the first fear is based on the experience and the reason why we left that marriage or why that marriage is not there anymore. So that will be our topmost fear, and we will look into that. Then there is a fear of, I think what Parini went through, that will they accept my children? And what you've said is very true, not only in the Gujarati community, but most of the communities where the man will say that you will have to take care of my child, I will not for yours. Because I think that also comes from the fear of patriarchy and all the wealth and the property, who it is going to. My blood is my blood, your blood is not my blood. I want you in my life as a partner for A, B, C, D, E, but that does not involve having your children in my necessity of having you as my partner. So I think, each to its own. I don't want to get into right or wrong over here right now, but these are the kind of fears people kind of have, when they are.
Absolutely right.
There is jealousy and insecurity also, like, is the person I want to get married to remarry or anything? Are they still in touch with their partners? How is that going to be? So there are a lot of things like that.
I think Tanmay is raising a hand before I come to Parini about how did she solve these fears when she decided to get married to Hemant. So Tanmay, you wanted to add something?
No, I did want to add something. Maybe this is a question which probably even Parini can, talk later, but maybe Niyatii, you can also see. My whole question is, I haven't got into this remarriage thing, but when I listen to you and I listen to other people also, the whole thing about, also the fact that I have got my two kids, or my one kid, or whosoever that is, and then I have my property, my money, and all of those things, and then there is a person who's coming from the other side. They have their own family and whatever it is. And somewhere the thing is that all this wealth that I have is actually belongs to my kid, because this is like my thing. Maybe from this point onwards, maybe things will change. How do you deal with something like that? Because that may be a valid question which people don't very openly talk about. Because one of the thing is, because I remember one of my friends married, his point was, ki boss, till now all the property that I have, मैं तो already will बना दी है. This goes to my kids, because he had two kids. So this is going to my kids. And henceforth, whatever we acquire as a new couple together, probably that is something which we need to think about. And even he told his future wife that, listen, whatever you have acquired, your balance or whatever it is, you please put it to your kids' name.
Okay.
So at least we are very clear about this thing. and then we kind of. So how do you deal with that? Because this may be a tricky thing. So probably even
Correct.
before the relationship can actually start, वो इसी बात पे लड़ाई हो जाएगी, boss ये सब चक्कर क्या है?
Makes sense, Tanmay. So we have a real life scenario of Parini and Hemant who took this call of remarrying, but also, uh, uh, and also Parini, when I was talking to you and discussing about your choice of Hemant, in your case, Hemant told it just clicked, Vikram. I don't know what was it. It was probably love in the air, or I don't know, but I just got a feeling because of intuition that she is the one who is right for my son Aryan. And in a way, you also got a feeling that he is the one who is right for both the daughters, clear, Rutvi, and also for your younger daughter, Khushi. So tell us, Parini, and if you look at in your case, Tanmay, just to couple your questions with my observation, in your case, you did got attracted to each other, clear. You started respecting and caring for each other. And me, Debasree, others who were known to both of you, we were shocked when we came to know that his cancer has come back to him. And you were engaged, and your date of marriage was also decided. And we all were very happy to just celebrate and blah, blah. And then this news came that Hemant got the cancer back. And it was not at an earlier stage. You told us that it looks to be a little bit serious. And a lot of questions were hovering in your head about marriage. Your parents might have been giving suggestions to you. Hemant might be going through a lot of his own mental battle of, okay, I love this girl, but this has come back. So let me just take a call. I mean, you did mention to me that Hemant Vikram was very, very clear that he do not wanted me to get married because he felt I don't know this cancer and where it leads to, and you have a life. But something which Tanmay was asking about, practical approach of money and property and this and that. In your case, it did so happen that you finally took a call of marrying him, despite of all this happening, which was happening to his life. And so take us through your journey of, as Tanmay is saying, what made you decide, come what may, I'm going to marry Hemant?
Now,
Before Parini
Hemant.
would like to answer, I just want to mention, so this is not a relapse what I have. My cancer is not something which came back. I survived cancer in 1996.
Correct.
Which was completely cleared. There was no situation on that. Once doctor gave me a clearance, then only after that I had got married.
Correct.
For the first time. So this cancer has not come back. This is a new cancer which out of the blue which came in, which was a shock to us because it came in the liver, some parts of pancreas, and some parts of lungs. It was a 4th stage cancer out of the blue. So it is not something which was a relapse.
And also, Hemant, there was no signal in the sense you were healthy.
Absolutely.
I think few months back only we had a party at Debasree. We all met as single parent, and I think when we came to know, we were shocked to see the 4th stage mein aaya when it was detected also.
So it came,
they confirmed that actually it's a little bit serious. And then probably I'm sure you might be going through something about marriage decision. And so let's hear from Parini and then I'll come back to you. Thanks for clarifying that it's a new cancer, and
that's not an old thing.
That too at a higher stage of fourth stage. So Parini, you might be going through a lot of questions as Niyatii was telling, and even Tanmay was talking about how do you take a call. So
honestly speaking, with regards to property, that never came to my mind because obviously I had to take my daughters and I'm stepping into a new man's house. So that worry he has to take off, right? Now the journey that we are talking about of mine and Hemant's, but how I got connected to him, that like he said, he felt the belonging that which he never felt in his earlier 2 relations. I also felt equally him to be very genuine, honest, and a committed man, which during my journey of being single for 4 years, I saw what the world outside is. It is like people, the relationships for them is just kind of a fling. Most of the men or women have the fear of getting into a committed relation. And here I was looking for a committed relation, which Hemant gave me that feeling, and he won my trust. Okay, you are the only one and I will take care of you. So when he came to meet my dad also to ask for my hand, this man came with his property papers, he came with his earlier decree of divorce, he came with his 2nd decree of divorce, with complete like an open book. He was in front of my family. This is what I was and this is what I'm looking at, and I want to live my life with Parini. So then my parents agreed when we both are agreeing and we're on the same stage. We got engaged somewhere in July. And in the first week of September, that is before last year's Ganpati, Hemant was detected by cancer at the stage 4, where all the top oncologists of Mumbai told us that he would only survive for 6 to 8 months. And that time our wedding date was 21st of November. Yeah. So now I was in a situation where every morning my mom used to call. Okay, in between I had moved from my house to his house, and we were living in a live-in with my younger daughter. My elder daughter was already in Canada. My younger daughter was supposed to fly anytime after September. So we thought, at least till then, hum charo as a family will live together so that we know each other.
Correct.
And during that stage, we were living like a happy family. Or suddenly, ek cancer ka aa jata hai, and then now we both are at the edge of our life. What to do? What to do? Every morning, my parents call up, ki, yaar, you've already gone through a rough marriage and you've lived your life like this for so many years. Why you want to get into it when we know that this man is not going to survive? His lifespan is really short. So, her subah sham rona dhona, doctors ke chakkar, ye wo. It was a horrible days. I don't even want to recollect those days back. But one fine day, Aryan, that's his son, and my younger daughter Khushi, they both came to me when I was actually crying like crazy, and we were staying on the 10th floor. I wanted to just jump. I wanted to end my life. I'm done, boss. Now I cannot take it further. That is the time they both held my hand, especially my younger daughter. She's like, hey, Mama, what does your heart say? Forget what Nanu Nani are saying. What does your heart say? I just told her, I said, I love this man. And today, if I want to be his wife, I want to live as Mrs. Hemant Amrute, or I would want to be a widow of Mrs. Hemant Amrute. Chahe jo bhi ho, मैं इसकी ही सुहागन बनूंगी या इसी की ही विधवा बनूंगी, but I want to be with this man because I truly love him. And I may give him a new life. You never know what can happen. So that is how then finally, by God's grace, I think it's going to be a year now that Hemant is fighting from cancer. But then we got happily married in December. Our kids went and got nice wedding bands for us. Nobody in the house knew that we've secretly married because they were not agreeing to our marriage. But we got married in presence of our children.
And also, I remember Parini, one you can say the net practice was also done in Devi's place, if you remember, and he was completely into tears. And Hemant, I come to you, and believe me, Hemant, you as an individual, as a human being, has inspired me, and I can tell you with full confidence that you inspire many people. Matlab, I am very fortunate. I every day pray to God that I met you, and whenever life puts some challenge in me, I just look at you, and believe me, my challenges becomes very small. When I see what this man has gone through and the challenge which I am perceiving and feeling tensed about is nothing. And one thing, Hemant, which definitely Parini rightly told, you never know her love and affection and this entire marriage can regenerate. And it is almost a year. You have challenged all the oncologists' report of 6 months and whatnot. And I told Parini and Debasree also, I have seen this man driving a car. I'm next to him. There is syringe laga hua hai haath mein, and you're driving a car, and immediately after so-called chemo, you are taking us to some place, and I used to feel the pain of that syringe, and you are somebody who's going through the entire process of chemo after another. And in fact, for me, it was very difficult to sit next to you. I can only empathize, but I used to draw a lot of strength. I used to feel, boss, this man is full of life. Yeah, he's so positive about life. Tell me your experience. I'm sure as a man, that time you might be thinking, yeah, I don't know, but let me not marry because she might still have a life and she can have some other man. But she told you that, boss, tumhari bibi banna hai, tumhari vidwa banna hai. What was your reaction that time?
Okay, thank you for the kind word, Vikram. See, when I went through the situation, when I came to know about it, primarily I thought it was a relapse, but then we met the doctor. It wasn't a relapse. It was entirely a new thing, and it was on the 4th stage. So I have gone through the situation, so I am aware about what happens when you're fighting cancer. I was a cancer survivor earlier. I am fighting cancer again. So I'm definitely surviving. So no big deal about it. So I knew the situations what I would go through. So when this thing happened, the first thing I told her, like, the situation is, let's be practical on this situation. You take a step back. It's no hard feelings. You have a good life. You lead a good life. My situation is compromise. But she said no. She stood by me. And it was like, she asked me just one simple question. If it was the other way around, what would you do? I said, like, of course, I won't leave you at all. That was my answer. So that's all. That's it. So she stood strong for me. And yes, I would say I'm fortunate she's in my life. That's why I'm still alive. But she's a major part of my strength that I am standing today. If she wasn't there, maybe things could have been different. But because she's there, I'm strong today. So for me, it was a very difficult situation. But then we decided to take each day the way as it comes. Many times people ask me this situation, what you're going through. Then I just give them one answer. I give them the example of Siddharth Shukla. He did not even get a chance to fight for his life.
Correct.
I have a chance to fight. I have a chance to fight for my life. So here I am. And with her support, I'm doing that. And I'm sure I'll go ahead.
Fantastic, Hemant. We'll all love you and keep inspiring many of us. Parini, you wanted to add something. You raised your hand.
I just wanted to say that, like Snehil said, after what she went through, she was like, कि हम पता नहीं कि कल हम घर पहुंचेंगे भी नहीं, कल की क्या फिक्र करना. So after you lost somebody, your mind changed, right? Here, each day, I'm just sharing my feeling. Every night when I wake up, I check whether he's still breathing or not. In the morning, the day he wakes up, it is a thank you that I always say to God. Okay, thank God, आज का दिन देखा हमने. And we both are living our lives like teenagers. My daughters get jealous when they see my picture. Like, Mama, please, we are 21 and not you. I said, I don't care. This is the attitude of life. Just live it to your fullest. You
but
never
such
know.
A beautiful lens, Parini. I'm just thinking about Aryan, Rutvi, and Khushi. The lens which you both have given to them, the lens through which they look at life, only through both of you, because you are their role models. I'm sure the entire life is so much, for them, it is so much to learn from both of you. I think Tanmay has raised a hand. He also mentioned that he has gone through that tough period of taking care of his wife when she was suffering from cancer. And the last 3 months was most painful for him, emotionally, physically, medically, whatnot. And Tanmay, you raise your hand, please.
I just want to say this thing that, when a cancer like thing happens, I'm not talking about other disease because I won't know much about it. But when a cancer like disease happens, while there is only one person who has got cancer, but it's entire family which actually faces the heat of it, the brunt of it. And the whole family feels for it. In my case, my wife was very clear that she doesn't want to tell other relatives, and including my own parents, because she said, let me fight it out, let me win over, and then we can say, oh, by the way, you know what, this happened? Don't worry, everything is fine now. And I think that takes a lot of guts, and she did that. And as Parini mentioned that, there was a fear every day. I tell you what, every time there was a function, I would just pray to God, I just hope this is not her last function.
Yeah, you told me
I
last
just
time.
hope that this is not her last New Year. I just hope this is not her last birthday. And more than enjoying that function or a festival, I would be just thinking about in my mind, though I would not say it to my wife, but that's something of fear which has always been there. And I remember in the last about 2 or 3 months, in fact, I stopped going to office. I was like, and again, she was at home. And the thing was that I was an ayah, I was a nurse, I was husband, I was everything. I mean, I was not even operating from home. I was actually operating from my bedroom because she said, no, I just want you to stay with me. And then, again, so I completely understand, the fear that Hemant had and, Parini had. So I can understand and I can relate that. And again, I'll tell you what, stages and everything I don't understand because I became half the cancer oncologist myself during those times. And again, Hemant would agree that every family who is going through a cancer becomes an oncologist on their own. But the ऐसे स्नेहल ने कहा ना, जब बैंड बजनी होती तो बजती है, जब बुरा वक्त आना होता तो आता है। वो एक कहावत है कि दैट इवन इफ यू नो समथिंग लाइक इवन इफ सिटिंग ऑन अ कैमल, जब गुर्बत होती है तो कुत्ता भी आगे आके चला जाता है। I don't know if you can make out this thing that even if you're sitting on a camel at a height, if a dog wants to bite you, they can still come and bite you, and you can't do anything about it. And that's the unfortunate part, that life can just change gears completely, and you do not have as to what has just hit you. And then you think, oh, is this a dream or hua kaise? What happened? And it takes time for you to understand what is this. So,
So it's
I have a
very
lot of
brave. Yeah, it's very brave of your wife, Tanmay, when you mentioned that she do not wanted you to share with your own parents. I think it takes a lot of guts, as Hemant told.
she
That
passed away at 6:30 in the evening. At 3:30, she's in Tanmay. Just chill here. I mean, nothing will happen. I mean, I'm going to be here. Don't worry about it. Because I started discrimination to feel. And the same day, she was just telling me at 3:30 that, listen, don't worry. Nothing's going to happen. I'm here. Kuch nahi hone wala mujhe. So that's just how it is.
I agree, Tanmay. We can only feel about it, but you are the one who have gone through the journey. And I think the best lesson which we can take from Hemant, who is a cancer survivor, second time in life, and he very rightly told about Siddharth, saying that he didn't got second chance. I got it. I'll fight it out. And you were questioning about that, how to deal with the property and all. I think I have never come across a love or a care between two people like Parini and Hemant, in which one is saying that I'm compromised. I don't know what will happen. And she's very genuinely asking, तुम क्या करते अगर मुझे कैंसर होता तो? I think somewhere we all as a Indian, when we see love stories and love movies and whatnot, I think these are a real life people. We are fortunate that we're listening to them. One says that तुम क्या करते अगर मुझे कैंसर होता? बोलता है नहीं मैं तुम्हारा साथ देता. And she's standing by him, and all the three kids, their own kids now. It's a family now. Look at the life which they are seeing. And her daughter is saying from Canada, madam, मम्मी मैं 21 साल की हूँ, तुम और मतलब for her now Hemant is a dad, how well you are enjoying life. मतलब the way they are giving meaning of life to these three kids, it's amazing. I think Parini is raising her hand. Parini.
Yeah. Just coming to Tanmay's query about the property wala thing is, I don't know how it happened, Tanmay, but when we decided to kind of not think about the marriage immediately, because all the doctors had not given us positive hope. So that was not on our cards at all. But after he got to know about his cancer and then all that procedure was going on, Hemant ne apne aap ek din jaake, we were not even married, he made his will. And in that will, he put me as a live-in partner, and he also gave his share to my daughters. That really touched my heart.
Without even getting married.
तो मैं इसकी सुहागन भी नहीं हूँ. I'm not committed to him. He could have उठा के सब कुछ अपने बेटे को दे सकता था. But that was the love, and that what we saw in each other's eye now. Maybe I don't think I'll be able to express to you or explain to you. You can only experience it. तभी you will understand what it is.
Snehil, you are adding, and also I think I forgot to ask you, Snehil, that what was your prime reason to get into second marriage with Ram? I'm so sorry, I just forgot in this episode of their marriage. Why did you choose to go for second marriage when it happened to you? You have to unmute yourself. Snehil, you are on mute.
Yes. I will give your answer.
And I'm sorry, I'm apology.
No problem at all. I'll give your answer in a while. First, I just add my experience with the Parinis and Tanmay's query. That is what when I got married with my husband, second marriage with my husband Ram. He has 2 kids and I have 1, and 3 all are son. So even though we don't have any talk about any kind of properties discussion, nothing, we have a genuine feeling to us like that बस हम साथ हैं, उसके अलावा अभी कुछ भी नहीं है. Like I am happily married with him from last 3 years, and we even didn't talk about it. He just talk about my son, so no one can say that he's not his biological father. Though I am not allowed to access his kid, but my behavior at home, I take both those kids as my son. For everything, I used to put the 3 of my. Now afterwards, The people ask me if a known one has met me and asked me for how many kids you have. I used to ask them that I have 3 sons with me.
Wow, yeah, so
So,
sweet.
so when you are into something or someone, that love or something has triggered your heart in that way to make your second marriage successful. So
Mhm.
all these practical things are apart from the stuff, basically.
Agree,
So this
Snehil. And I have seen the bond between Rachel and Ram.
Yes.
Matlab, it's amazing to see how he came in his life and the way Rachel adores him as a father. It's fantastic. So, Niyatii, before we conclude, and let me just take few questions from the participants.
I just want to share
Hemant.
something.
Yes, Hemant.
I just want to share something. One of the things which I want to strongly mention out here. So I was a single father for a pretty long time, though I got married in between, but it was a short marriage. So Aaron has been with me, but the first time he actually got a mother's love for a long, correct period and help him nurture is with Parini.
Parini.
So it was never like Parini is his second mother, but Parini has
Actual
been like his real mother,
Actual
more
mother.
than a real mother. She has been taking care of him. She has actually molded him completely different.
When
Like
we were,
baby knows, like
yeah.
we've been
When
friends
we were at
even
home,
before I met Parini, and she has seen Aryan the way he was before.
absolutely.
It's a 360-degree change what Parini did.
Agree
Parini
with you,
actually
Hemant.
molded him completely, and now he listens to her more than me.
Yeah. And think Niyatii was talking about there will be some lady who can play the role of a lady, and I think that happened to Aryan.
Yeah.
And I have also seen the bonding which Parini creates with everybody, but especially for Aryan, it was a very big ray of hope.
Absolutely.
To talk to somebody, and he has such a strong friend, like he can share almost everything.
She has
with
more
her.
with her than me.
Yes.
And they both gang up against me.
But normally that is the case. Daughters will be close to you. So Rutvi and Khushi will share more with you now, and Aryan will be sharing more with Parini. So Niyatii, before we invite the others to ask some questions, we can take your view on role of intimacy, since you are also a sexuality coach, between the couples after remarriage. You can throw some light, and then we'll come to the audience.
I think I was waiting to answer Tanmay's question for all this while, and this is going to just join the question that you have asked me. So one, all of us, whether it is our first marriage or the nth marriage, we have a reason why we get married. 99% of the time, the reason is unknown to the person who is getting married. It's usually the others who know why you should get married. Okay, so it's either the society wants you to get married, or it's your
Very well
age, you
said.
have to get married. Ab padhai kar li to aage kya? It's like the next step to get married. Otherwise, tumhara, like who is going to look after you after me is the next step of marriage. It's the same thing even in the nth time. So Tanmay, when you decide, or for everyone on this panel and otherwise, when you decide that now I want to get married, the clarity of your reason is extremely important. If you're getting married for companionship, then that's what you focus on. All right. The other parts that come along. See, I'll tell you something. When somebody shares something which is very precious, we start looking at that person with a very different angle. So when Parini said that, okay, I always was connected with Hemant, the connection was there, the attraction was there, the authenticity was there. But then even before I got married, he also gave his wealth. That added the cherry to the cake, because wealth is precious in our culture, okay? And when that precious part was also, shared with her, it became like a big deal. It was like there cannot be anybody better for me. So similarly, it completely depends on an individual of what they think. Now, for example, if there were two people who were extremely rich in their own way, very, very financially independent, there's no absolutely reason for her to look into somebody else's wealth. Was not that precious part, but they are looking for companionship, and the wealth is coming but the companionship is not, then it's not a good marriage. So whatever fills your marriage, like the two families coming together, is what will make the difference in the marriage. So when you are looking for a partner, if ever, if wealth is a part of that person's expectation, which should be discussed from the beginning without hesitation, without feeling guilty, without feeling, she can ask for it if she wants. She can say, I don't want, should I give you some? It could be any way. Tanmay can say, listen, it's all my children's. For me, this is what I have done. And now from here on, as he was saying, we can now share, or you look into your financial part, I look into mine. We are coming together for this purpose, but the purposes should align. Then there is a good marriage. Then there is a happy marriage. If the purposes don't align, you are looking for companionship, she's looking for maybe support, then you will again have a lot of problems in the marriage. Expectations are different, as simple as that. So that's for you, Tanmay. So when you're looking for a partner, make sure that the clarity of what you want and why you're getting into this marriage is there. Whether then it's a single person's choice, whether with children, without children, with wealth, without wealth, with love, without love. Some people get married because they have older parents. Like, okay, now that I'm alone, I'll take care of my kid. One kid I have, but my parents need you. It could be any reason. So that was that. Intimacy also comes when there is clarity of marriage. Intimacy basically only means closeness. Intimacy has nothing only to do with physical attraction or physical closeness. It's emotional, it can be mental, it can be physical, it can be spiritual, for all that we can say. So now that also is a recognition, no? What is your language of intimacy? What do you usually expect, or what are your kind of thoughts? Like, when I have my partner, these are the things I will do. This is how I want, and this is what I want in my marriage. It's already there in you. All you have to do is become very aware about it. Have clarity about it. So if physical intimacy is something that you're looking for, and then you're marrying somebody you're not attracted to, bad marriage. If intellectual intimacy is what you're looking for, the person is super attractive but can't have a conversation with you, bad marriage. So I think intimacy simply means what do I want? And if it is, yes, I want an attractive and an intelligent person who I can have a conversation with, then go for that combination. There are all sorts of people in this world, billions of people to choose from. Maybe we can cut it into half, still you have billions of people to choose from. So just be very sure of who you want, and you will get that person. Just have that clarity. Your questions also will start forming because of the clarity you have. So in the first meeting, when you're sitting, you won't ask each other, what is your hobby? I mean, that's all passe, that's not what you're going to do. You're genuinely going to know, okay, I need to know these type of questions. And being a sexuality educator, I will want to wind up this session by saying, do not hesitate to talk about your sexuality, about your expectations. Excellent. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I think, Niyatii, you rightly ended the conversation at a point in which we can invite the participants. So we have Preeti. Preeti, can you hear us? Preeti from Mumbai. Preeti?
Yes, I can hear. Yes.
Yeah, Preeti, hope you have gone through the entire panel discussion.
Actually, I joined late, and
now
I'm regretting.
Why did
I join late?
Okay, now you are regretting, but don't worry. We have recorded the session because many people had some work in the office or at home. Since they are single parents, we empathize with them. We all have gone through this multitasking. So we have recorded the entire session, and we'll be mailing you the link once it is saved. But Preeti, hope what all you attended, so nice. it made some sense to you. Hope that it made some sense to you.
Yes, and it was quite inspirational, and I have explored, a different perspective of single parenting. I had a lot of questions, doubts, and experiences. So I was when I was hearing each and every participant, it was giving me a different, perspective, and gave me a lot of answers to queries that were going in my mind.
Okay. Anything particular you want to ask Parini, Hemant, Niyatii, Snehil, Debasree, or Tanmay? If at all some of your questions in your mind is unanswered.
Yeah, I have a question in my mind at this point of time. Now, I'm into single parenthood because of my husband passed away 6 years back, and there have been a lot of ups and downs in this tenure, and each day is a learning day. New learning is there. Now at this stage of my life, what I can see is that the perspective of other people towards me and my kids, and somewhere we are living a isolated life. We can see there is no social life. So is remarriage or dating someone is the only option, or is there any other way that I can have a good social life? Because what I can see that the perspective of other people is sometimes it isolates and it gives different vibes,
Correct.
and sometimes not a correct attitude, which holds us back to mix up, and this affects mainly to my kids, because they after all, we are all human beings and we need human interaction.
Agree.
We need social
Agree, Preeti.
interaction.
So let's take who
Besides
wants to
this,
take it.
Yeah.
Who wants to take this question of a parent getting so much into single parenting, he or she's now feeling that I'm cut off from the society. Is second marriage the only choice, or dating is the only option? Niyatii, will you start? Or Hemant, yes, please.
Okay, so the question what she's put across has been faced by many of the single parents, what I've come across. So if you remember, we were discussing about the reason I started USP, United Single Parents, was for the same reason that once you become a single parent, so-called friends of yours, they disappear. So-called relatives of yours disappear. So-called families disappear. And then you become alone. Then your child asks you a question: why are we not getting invited for birthday parties of another kid? Because you are outcasted completely. It's like people start thinking it's a taboo to invite a single parent. Ki koi aayega single parent, then situations will happen in the same circle. Even if they must be doing whatever they are doing outside, but they feel a single parent coming in, a single father coming in, they might hit on the mothers, or a single mother coming in would hit on the fathers. So they are cut off from the entire environment. That's the situation which actually happens to a lot of people. That was the reason we came up with the concept of united single parents, where get connected to a group of single parents, where you can take your child with your head high, because all of them have the same background, and they all can come together, do your events, do your activities together. You won't be judged, because otherwise a lot of areas you get judged out of. So that's one thing you should try out. There are single parents group. You should get connected to single parents and just come over it. Don't get worried about what the society thinks. Society is not going to come and pay your bills. That's why.
Excellent, Hemant. Niyatii, want to add something? Please.
So, Preeti, the more you're going to question someone else, what should I do about my life? You will have 10 advices, and I hope you can fulfill all 10. Will you be able to?
Come.
No. So it is very important to question yourself. What do I want to do? Do I want to date? Do I don't want to date? Now, dating is just another way of looking for a partner. It could be through another arranged marriage. It could be accidental. It could be dating. It could be somebody you already knew and then you are deciding. There could be any ways. But before that, you have to be very clear whether you want the partner or not. If you don't feel ready for a partner, ready yourself. If you think like, I may or I want, but I'm not ready. So if there is any hope, I won't say hope, if there is any desire to have a partner, I would say start building yourself towards it. But what is important is to question yourself and nobody else, because we all have our own experiences to give you, right? So Hemant is invited to a community so that you don't feel lonely. I will say, Preeti, yes, I think in the beginning only Mr. Satish was saying you must get married. It is important to have a companion. So everyone speaks out of their own experiences, and each one of us is right. But now, how are you going to choose what is right for you? So that is where you have to start questioning yourself. Okay, one idea, I see this is a bank of ideas here. Choice is yours. Hemant said, come to my community. I have already, I know how people will treat you. Mr. Satish is saying, yes, go get married. Niyatii will say, come to me, I will help you. Make a decision. All of us are giving you different ways. Maybe at one point you will have experienced all of it. But where do you actually want to go, where your heart lies, where you really, just sit quietly for 15 minutes and ask yourself this question. What do I want to do? I guarantee you'll have some direction at that point in time, and take it. Will you make a mistake? You may. So, Hemant made a second mistake. He corrected himself. Don't shy away from the mistakes you've made. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel, oh, second marriage, third marriage, nth marriage. So, your life. Make sure you are, and every failure is only going to teach you the next lesson. All right. But first, what is important is be clear what you want and then go for it. So is
Very
dating
well.
important? It's as important as you make it.
So I hope, Preeti, you got a lot of good inputs about how to find your own answer. And it is coming from many people who are experts and who are somebody who have met, like Hemant runs a community which has hundreds of single parents. Niyatii is coming from a coach experience of coaching a lot of single parents and otherwise. So now I'm sure you got what to do. We are not giving a solution, impromptu solution, but definitely you got what to do. And we hope that, you do what you feel like doing, as Niyatii is rightly told.
No, actually, Vikram, I have a solution. She just has to guarantee me that she'll go with it.
Yeah, please give it. So let's see.
Come on, say it, Preeti. Whatever you say, Niyatii, I will do that only. Not possible. Thank you so much for all
Fantastic, Niyatii.
No,
Very
life
well
doesn't
said.
work like that.
So we have a somebody who's raising the hand from the audience. Srivats. Hi, Srivats. Srivats is from Bangalore.
Hi, Vikram. Hi, hello everyone.
Hi, Srivats. Thanks for attending the entire panel.
yeah.
You are there from the beginning. I hope it made some sense to you.
Yeah, I've been listening to all of you for most of the time, except for the time when I left the meeting, to attend to some work. Okay, so, okay, to add to whatever you people have said, Mr. Hemant, Niyatii, I've been hearing a lot. Okay, so just not a suggestion to anyone or anything like that, just a few facts. Okay,
sure.
First thing is the biggest disease in this world. I'm sure that hats off to Mr. Hemant, who has been battling cancer and all those things. The another important disease which human beings face is loneliness. Okay, one of the most important things to battle is loneliness. Whether you're a kid, if you're a single kid in the household, you're lonely because you don't have a playmate. Okay, and in the school, if you're isolated, you're lonely. In the college, you could be lonely, and as an adult, you could be lonely. You could be lonely inside a marriage. You could be lonely outside a marriage. Okay, loneliness is there to be fought. Okay, to keep yourself sane. Okay, now in terms of and fortunately, in my case, that I have not been isolated by my friends. My friends have not left me. I have too many friends, too many good friends, who have been with me through thick and thin and still with me. Okay, and I do. Fortunately, my work keeps myself busy. Okay, at both at office, where I'm a professor in a university, and at home, running around for my son and for my parents. I stay with my parents. Fortunately, I'm always surrounded with my son, my parents, and my friends all around. And so this is it. Let me ask one question. Okay, sometimes I go to the Cubbon Park. Long ago I used to go to Cubbon Park to take my son to a science class over there, and I used to walk around when the class was going on. There is one small park over there, okay, where all the pets are brought, especially the dogs. Okay. Now, why are they bringing the dogs? Okay, because dogs are feeling lonely in the apartment. They don't have a playmate over there, and dogs are there to mate and date. Okay, I mean, yeah, they are trying to find their partners. Okay, so it's a basic human instinct to find a companionship. So why shy away from that is a key question. Yes,
Good.
of course. After all, what's the definition of dating? I mean, going for a coffee is also a date, going for a lunch is also a date, going for a long drive is also a date. How do you want to define your date as such? That is left to you. Okay. You might make some mistakes, as long as you don't make costly mistakes. It is fine. And those people, I'm very sure that people with kids are doubly careful about, going out on a date, and they take extreme precaution. They need to get that good vibes. You want to go out for a coffee with.
Agree.
Okay, so there is nothing to get worried. I think that, as Niyatii said, that you should give it a chance. You live only once. Yeah, make it worthwhile. All right.
So
That's what I
Srivastava,
want to say.
so good for giving this outlook, and also after your divorce, good thing which you mentioned is also a lot of your friends stood by you.
Yes.
Which is a very good part which you mentioned, and that gives a lot of positivity, and that loneliness quotient which you spoke about. Somewhere your work and your friends, close friends, are filling that part of your life.
That's right.
Fantastic. Srivastava, thanks for joining from Bangalore and almost
Thank you.
attending the entire panel discussion with us. Let me invite Rubal. Rubal is from Chandigarh, and she mentioned that she wants to share some point about dating importance. Rubal, are you there? Meanwhile, do we have Shilpa? Shilpa, are you there? Shilpa is from Bhayandar.
Hi, Vikram. Shilpa here.
Hi,
Hello.
Shilpa. How are you?
I'm good.
Hope you attended the panel discussion and it was
Yes.
meaningful to you.
Yes. Each and every panelist who was talking to, I could feel that I could relate to all those things. And they were just so talking, speaking my heart, be it talking in the terms of experience or be it their fear, anxiety, all those things. It was just my heart they were speaking, like I felt.
Wow, Shilpa. Any question you want to ask to any of our panelists, if you feel like?
No, it is just that. No, I don't know whether this is relevant or not, but now whenever I join this kind of dating apps, not exactly dating apps, but certain apps, the guys, they ask for phone numbers which I am not comfortable with, and exchanging, and most of them that I have met are not genuine. So I feel so frustrated when I go on such apps. It's waste of time, I feel, and then sometimes I get completely depressed कि है भी नहीं कि मेरे लिए कोई कि ना सब लोग को मिल जाता है यार मुझे ही नहीं मिल रहा है कोई.
See, in the case of Parini, I think Parini did spoke about her.
Yes,
her
I
time
did.
of dating, and she also had some fraud. This man who actually came, she realized that he was married. And so definitely, yes, it's a chance. But what you're saying is right. It's up to me to share my mobile number or not. And best part about mobile number now is that there's a chance to block also. If somebody has taken my number and she's very fussy about me and I have not given any signal, I can just block her. So she cannot message me, she cannot call me. So, but what you're saying is right. Sometimes I think either the desperation on the other side, and you as a female who's a single mother is looking for a genuine relationship. But I think in this case, Shilpa, what we also came to know is that Parini's decision to filter her choices in the dating app happened from Tejas, whom she met as a friend. And Tejas ne Parini ko bola ki looks like I am not the right man for you, but why don't you filter it? Because you're not very clear about whom do you want. And the moment she filtered, Hemant जो filter करके रखा होगा, he's looking for a married woman. तो क्या हुआ कहीं ना कहीं बैड एक्सपीरियंस भी रहा परिणी को, बट डेटिंग के थ्रू ही, वो तेजस के थ्रू ही, समवेयर वी थैंक तेजस आल्सो टू ब्रिंग हेमंत टू आवर लाइफ, बिकॉज वो जब फिल्टर किया परिणी ने तब जाके इन लोग मैच हुए.
The thing is, I have already mentioned about my choices. I am not looking for a time pass or everything.
That is one. And second is probably luck. Niyatii, what to say this? She has been trying, but she's always encountered with fraud and men who only want number and probably casual relationship.
No. So see, you have to know which app you're going on to. There are some apps which will be women driven. So like Bumble is an app which is women driven. So we have to say yes. We have to start messaging. Only then they can message back. One, there are apps which have calling features, video as well as voice. So before giving your number, you can use these features, see whether the person in front of you is the person what they are talking. Even if the app does not have those features, we have Google Chat, we have Hangouts, we have programs which do not require phone numbers.
Absolutely.
So please make use of the technology that we have. Just educate yourself about it. Use other ways to meet these people. Meet the person outside. And these can be the platforms where you're making a plan. Once you've met the person at least maybe like, 1-2 times, you felt somewhere comfortable, then share your phone number. So that can become a choice, right? So the phone number part of it. What Parini did again was just making more clear. She was getting more clarity and she started using the filters saying, okay, now there's more clarity. This is the kind of a person I want. So rather than saying, I don't want anybody for time pass, say, I want a serious relationship. Because what you say don't is still something that the brain registers. All right. So rather than making a negative, I don't want A, B, C, D, E, say, I want A, B, C, D, E. But having said
even that is mentioned here. I am looking for, just a serious kind of profile, having single, whoever is a single parent or a widower. No one else beside that. Even then,
having
come
said
in
that,
and then
yes, I was coming to that. Having said that, we do live in a society where men don't care about what the woman is saying. This is on a general platform. Not every man is like that. But they won't leave a chance to want to meet you. Okay. One. So there are multiple reasons. One, I won't get into a lot of it, but understand that women are not very forthcoming when it comes to dating or speaking romance or sharing that romantic life with a man unless she's married. Most of it, again, we still live in a culture where arranged marriages more than the love marriages, whether it's rural India or urban India. All right. We do have men who want to experience that, who are open to experience, the relationship, but women are not. So it become like, वैसे भी नहीं मिलती है, तो यहाँ से at least मैं जाके मिल लूँ. So that angle where men do think that if I'm getting a chance to meet her, why not? झूठ बोल के तो झूठ बोल के, लेकिन मैं जाके मिल के आता हूँ. It does happen. So I think you have to become a little more smarter to make use of the technology. Speak to the person 4-5 times. Only after that, if you feel comfortable, meet in a public or what kind of conversation you want to have, and then probably choose to share your number or not. But again, if you're not somebody who enjoys dating apps too much or believes in a dating app, it's okay not to be on one. And go the traditional way through friends, through family, meet more people, businesses, maybe workplace. There are so many ways of going and looking for a partner. So don't stress yourself for something that you're not comfortable with.
Tanmay also want to say something to you, Shilpa. Yes, Tanmay.
Just a quick one. One of the, we coming from the sales background, I can tell you that persistence is something which you need to follow. Be persistent. And the other thing is, because I'm a movie buff, Karan Arjun में से ना कि मेरे Karan Arjun आएंगे. कभी न कभी तो आएंगे. I think this is on a lighter note, but and then yeah, I'm not on any dating app. It's hard for a lot of people to believe that, but I'm not even on a single dating app. Like, considering the Bumble and Tinder has been my client in the past, right? So, but then see, it's all about persistence. It's all about कहते ना इंटरव्यू देना होता है. आप लोग 100 जगह CV भेजते हो, 10 जगह इंटरव्यू होते हैं, नौकरी तो एक ही चाहिए ना. It's the same thing that you just need one good person, and you never know.
But at the same time, I believe that when you are supposed to meet someone, it not required. It is not to be in a dating app also. Like रास्ते चलते भी हम मिल सकते हैं, when it's really meant to be happen something. So I don't know. I believe in those kind of.
So I think in a way, we all are convincing Shilpa that Shilpa don't give up. And as Niyatii is saying, that follow that smart trick of using technology. At the same time, don't lose hope if somebody is made for you. As Devi is saying, chalte bhi mil sakta hai. Raha mein bhi mil sakta hai.
I do give up on that belief system.
I do have a question for Shilpa, which she has to go back and introspect and think about it, whether she genuinely is ready for somebody right now. All right. So that's something that's coming to me while I'm listening to you. So think about that. Is there any ifs and buts that you are, kind of juggling with? What Debbie, I mean, I'm sorry, I just read it. What Debasree is saying that about the belief, or when it's meant to happen, it happens. I wish it was like that for me, because then it means like, okay, I'm just going to be and things are going to happen to me. I think what she means has a different connotation for me. I am going to be ready with clarity in my mind, and then I know for sure my partner is going to be here. I cannot be confused, and I cannot be like, things should happen to me. At the end of the day, God also helps those only who help themselves. So make sure that you're mentally ready, you're emotionally ready, you're physically ready. So a lot of people are into sadness and they are eating a lot of food. They're not, they are either they are like drinking a lot, smoking a lot. They're not in the right space, and then you're like, "Koi mujhe mil hi nahi raha hai," but you're not ready. You're not ready. You will have to get up and go to the gym. You will have to get up and take care of yourself emotionally. People are attracted to happy people. People are attracted to ready people, not people who somewhere are pushing the other one away. So Shilpa, go back and just introspect a little bit, and what needs to change or tweak a little bit, and see the magic happen.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shilpa. I think Hemant is also adding something. Hemant, you have to just unmute yourself.
What Niyatii says is absolutely right. There has to be absolute clarity of what you want, and are you ready for it? Because in our case, I was very clear and I was ready for it. And even Parini was very clear and ready for it. So it happened and we clicked. So, and also what Debbie said, जो होना है वो हो जाता है. कायनात पूरी सब ready जब हो जाते हो तो कायनात पूरा सब लाके देता है. Universe listens to you.
Agree, Hemant.
But I wanted to again add something or share. For my case, I am so much comfortable with being single. Now I'm enjoying so much. I don't feel like having someone in my life. Okay. So what about that?
So it's about the fact that as Niyatii is saying, you are, as of now, you are not looking for any companionship. You are happy as a single.
I love my my singlehood. I really
Your
love
singlehood.
it.
So yes, definitely, as Niyatii is saying, one has to be clear. It need not be forced कि मैं single हूँ तो ढूंढना ही है. You can just love your life and the way your life is. But yes, you need to enjoy. You need to enjoy either looking for somebody or Niyatii is about to leave. If somebody is waiting for her, because we are already offshooting the time. We have only 10 minutes to go. So Niyatii, you will be leaving now. So thanks a ton on behalf of all the panelists, second time, for helping us to curate an event like this, and keep helping many of the single parents, which you actually do in your profession. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Niyatii. We really enjoy your talk. We really inspire. Like we learn from your talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Niyatii.
Absolutely. I will be connecting with all of you, because the panelists, especially because we're already on a WhatsApp group. So please look forward to my invites. Maybe not by tonight, tomorrow, but definitely would like to, stay in touch with all of you. Thank you so much, Vikram, once again.
Thank you, Niyatii. Stay
And
in touch.
everybody, good night.
Good night, Niyatii. It was nice meeting you.
Same here, darling. See you.
So, Rubal, you wanted to say something about, you posted in the chat. Rubal, can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Rubal, first of all, you attended the entire event. Hope you liked the event and you liked the experience of all our panelists.
Obviously, I liked it, so I was liking it, so I was listening to it.
So yes, Niyatii,
I have
sorry.
learned many
Yes.
things, although what basically we feel ki crossing so long journey all alone, we sometimes feel ki we have already learned much, but there is still more to that come in our way.
Correct.
And I am feeling very happy to meet Hemant and
Parini.
I forgot the name.
Parini.
And I wish good luck for your rest of the life. And
Thank you
it's
very
very
much.
happy.
Thank you for your blessings.
Very nice ki people in today's life also find someone
Completely
with
agree.
very pure
Completely
heart
agree.
and
Rubal.
simplicity.
We all
Yes,
agree what you are
because this is
saying.
the one thing I am looking for.
Correct. Correct.
Only one thing that I want. I am very clear what I want.
Correct.
And actually, whenever I talk to someone, they also say, Ki, you are very clear of the things you want. And this time has made me clear.
Correct. Correct. So thank
And
you, Rubal,
even
for.
then, Ki, it's very difficult. I am not negative about anything.
Correct.
And as you say, Ki, never to give up. I agree
Correct.
with that. Never to give up. And keep your doors open always.
Absolutely
That
right,
I
Devan.
also agree. But
Absolutely.
at this point of stage when I am just 52, and you also become firm in your habit.
Yes,
And
agree
it
with
is
you.
obvious.
Agree with you. Which time passes, as
It is very
Debasree
obvious.
says,
And
as
as
Debasree is
you
saying, she loves her life.
just now somebody said ki I love my singlehood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Same
I
is the
think
case
it's
here.
absolutely right. So there is no, it's
I
not
love and respect my singlehood also.
correct. Correct. There's
Because
no
I learned when I start growing when I start loving myself only.
absolutely right. So
And
therefore, Rubal,
it's very important to love yourself. Then
agree,
only you can
Rubal.
survive in this tough world. Otherwise, you can't survive at all.
Agree, agree. And therefore,
Because
you will see that in the
I
panel.
had a very, very bad married life. And after that, when I started my journey with my daughter, first of all, I took her custody all alone. But I never broke her relation with her father and her family.
Agree.
And I very clearly said to them that it will be her decision. Right now, she is a child, but
Correct.
one day or other day she will grow up. If
And
she
now,
says I want to quit with that family, then I will be there. But I can't break her relation because this is not fair for her.
agree, Rubal. And also last time when I spoke to you, you told me, Vikram, अब तो इतनी बड़ी हो गई है कि now she has done her graduation.
Yeah,
She's
obviously अब बड़ी हो गई है क्योंकि
so
वो तो हो
all
गई
your
है. अगर मेरी लाइफ गई है तो उसकी भी गई है ना. एंड सेकेंडली मैं कभी ये भी इस चीज में भी बिलीव नहीं करती कि मैंने अपनी लाइफ उसके लिए सेक्रीफाइस करी है या कोई
correct,
कॉम्प्रोमाइज किया है.
very
ये मैंने
good,
बहुत
very
पहले
good.
डिसीजन ले लिया था कि ये थिंकिंग तो रखनी नहीं चाहिए कभी भी.
Absolutely right, Rubal.
और वो भी बच्चों से तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं रखनी चाहिए. सबसे बड़ी बात वो उसको लाइफ हमने दी है.
Absolutely right.
हम उसको एक सिक्योर कंप्लीट पेरेंटहुड नहीं दे पाए, किसी वजह से नहीं दे पाए कि चलो हमारी मैरिज वर्कआउट नहीं करी, बट उसमें उसकी कोई गलती नहीं है.
सही बात है, Rubal. And she is
तो
now
फिर
making you.
हम क्यों कहते हैं,
Now
हम क्यों
she's
कहें कि हम अपनी लाइफ सेक्रीफाइस कर रहे हैं.
agree, Rubal. And अब
हमने
तो
कहा नहीं है.
और अब तो तुम भी बड़ी खुश हो क्योंकि तुम्हारी बेटी इतने अच्छे से अपनी लाइफ को लीड कर रही है. The way you
मैं
have taken
पहले भी
care
खुश
of her
थी.
as a single
मैं
mother.
खुश थी तभी मैं इतनी लाइफ निकाल पाई हूँ.
Okay, Rubal, I think
Being
now.
positive and facing life.
Yeah, Rubal. Now I think we are almost in the verge of completion. Devanshi, are you there? Devanshi? Hello, Devanshi.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Vikram.
Hi, Devanshi.
Yeah.
Thanks for attending the event. Hope it made some sense to you.
Yes, yes. I wanted to say that thank you to everyone. I could really understand other perspectives, like how life of a single parent, if you lose a partner, is. So that is something I got to know, and so many brave people here. Kudos to them. And nice to know about Parini and Hemant's love story. It's really heart touching. And good
Absolutely
you
right.
guys found each other. And yeah, I'm also in a dilemma. Like I agree with Debasree also. Like even I'm enjoying my
Singlehood.
freedom, my space. At the same time, I feel sometimes, you feel lonely. I want some
कभी
a
तुमको
companion.
लोनली फील होगा तो देवाश्री के बारे में सोच लेना, अच्छा लगेगा. कभी लगता है पार्टनर
Yes,
ढूंढना
yes,
है,
I am
हेमंत और
there.
परिणी के बारे में सोचना लगेगा, हमारे लिए भी कोई
Yeah.
लिखा है.
And sometimes the
You just
responsibilities are
feel
overwhelming as a single parent, like because
Yep.
my son is 12, like your hands are full. So sometimes you feel koi hai, so it makes,
Correct.
difference
So it's all part
to
of
share.
life. And as Niyatii rightly told, we need to ask ourselves, are we ready mentally, emotionally? What is
Yeah.
the reason of? So I think we have last we'll allow Satish ji. Satish ji, thanks for attending the entire conference, and thanks Debasree for inviting Satish ji. He is a lawyer. He is helping many single parents. Sir, boliye sir.
He's
Boliye
the
sir.
one who has helped me out
Yeah,
throughout
yeah.
my
I want to
journey.
point out one thing,
Sir,
that
Satish ji.
the age will keep on growing. That's why it is very necessary that at advanced age you should have somebody to hold your hand.
Correct.
And that's why I still feel very strongly that you have to find a suitable match, especially for Debasree.
सर आप किसकी कोई मिला नहीं दिए सर मैं
हाँ
क्या
तो
करूं
अभी बताया ना नियति ने कैसा करने का. पहले you make yourself clear, be prepared for second marriage.
Correct.
You will find one, right, Hemant?
No, I'll tell you what, I feel the gap when, when I'm buying a movie ticket, when if I'm going alone, and I buy a movie ticket, it says, buy one, get one free. I said, shit, man, I just missed an opportunity. This free one, mere free ticket kharab ja rahi hai. What do I do?
Tanmay, same thing I feel like when I get the insurance, medical insurance from office for 3 people or 2, for then I feel like shit, I could have used it for my you know what I
Great.
mean.
So, guys, we are on the verge of completing the meet because this link will also expire in another 2 minutes. Pooja, are you there? Pooja? Hello, Pooja.
We should have had a
Yes.
meet.
Hey, hi,
this is
Pooja. How are you?
here. But I'm doing fine. This is my first time. And
Hope
I'm
it
sorry,
was
actually,
meaningful to you, what all you attended.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed. Actually, I have a daughter of 5 years old. So she's not keeping well. She's having some viral. So I'm serving her also. I'm listening to the talk also. I'm absorbing as much as I can. But
We'll be sharing
enjoyed.
the entire video link, recording link to
Yes,
all of you
please,
who are
please.
registered. But
Yes,
hope
yes.
what all you heard, and we all wish your daughter for a speedy recovery also, because we all have,
Yes, thank you.
all are like you only as a single parent.
Yes.
So more power to you, Pooja, and thanks for appreciating the panel.
Thank you very much, and I thank each and everyone. And you have changed my viewpoint from today onwards. So I'm gonna rethink with all the steps that I've done before, and I'm going to plan my future like that. Thank you
Fantastic.
so much.
So I
Thanks,
guess one
Parini,
second.
last word.
So I guess Pooja, that after listening to me and Mayan and Hemant's story, you will soon get on dating as now.
Yes, definitely, and I might reconsider everything that I decided earlier.
And
But it
Tanmay,
was
whenever
very
you are
exciting.
whenever you are booking a ticket 1 पे 1 फ्री, एक बार देबाश्री को पूछ लेना, उसको पिक्चर पसंद होगी तो हम लोग आ जाएंगे भाई, टिकट वेस्ट मत कर. हमारा बहुत बड़ा फोरम है, कोई ना कोई आ जाएगा टिकट देखने. क्यों देबाश्री? सतीश जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आपने हमारा पूरा पैनल डिस्कशन अटेंड किया, एंड थैंक्स टू देबाश्री फॉर इनवाइटिंग, एंड इवन एट दिस एज आपने पूरा पैनल अटेंड किया सर, और आपने बहुत बार मोटिवेट किया है हम सबको पार्टनर ढूंढने के लिए. मैं खुद ही एक कमिटेड रिलेशनशिप में हूं, तो आपकी दुआ से शायद वो कन्वर्ट हो जाए और हम भी हेमंत और परिणी जैसे मैरिड लाइफ एंजॉय करें, सेकंड मैरिड लाइफ. तो आपका आशीर्वाद रखिएगा.
आशीर्वाद तो हमेशा है.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू परिणी, Tanmay, Hemant, Rubal, Pooja, Debasree, and all the others in the link right now.
Hemant, Parini, भाई मेरी ओर से तुम्हारी पार्टी है. मैं तुम्हें पार्टी देनी है. शादी तो कर लिया, पार्टी नहीं लिया मेरे से.
हम सब जल्दी ऑफलाइन मिलेंगे और पार्टी करेंगे, ऐसे रूबरू मिल भी पाएंगे.
चलो फिर Amrute Farms will have one get together.
Yes, sir.
We'll invite Tanmay and others also.
Yes.
Okay, Snehil and everybody. Good night, guys. Thanks a ton for your time.
Thank you, bye, guys.
Thank you, Hemant.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks a ton.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night and enjoy your weekends.